All right. Welcome back and happy post Christmas day. I hope everyone had a terrific Christmas day and evening. I'm just getting situated here with the live stream. Looks like I'll be doing this solo tonight, and that's fine. I guess my Linux B team is all frozen tonight. So, anyway, greetings to all. Wishing you a terrific new year. So let me check the stream here on the YouTube studio. Looks pretty good. All right, looks good there. Looks good there. Looks like, let me go into OBS. Let me go ahead and switch this. And there we go. I think we're good here. So go back to OBS Studio. I have breaking news out of Florida. They have falling temperatures and falling iguanas. Oh, look out. I guess when it gets cold, the iguana's feet can't stick to the to the trees. All right, I guess somebody's here to join. I just have a picture of me in Florida. These iguanas just. Pff, pff, pff. Anyway, let's see who's showing up late. Ben is here. All right.
Hey,
All right,
Carmine.
Ben is joining us on the live stream. Okay, good. Hello, Ben. How are you?
I'm okay. I just got done spending the day with my parents redesigning my room.
That sounds like fun. Okay.
Well,
so
I got a new desk. I
Wow.
cleared out a bunch of crap, so everything is all clean, and we just have to finish vacuuming the floor, washing it.
Yep.
So,
That's what the Linux B team does on a weekend, rearranging their desks, their rooms. Hello, Steve, Jeff, Nosey's in the house. Joe Panico is in the house. Welcome all.
guys, get in here. Come on, let's all
All
chat.
right. Okay, this a couple of things here. This will probably be the last live show for this year. I'll tell you something funny. This month I got a message from Comcast. Thank you for being such a valued customer. Your rates are going up next month. Happy holidays.
Oh man. That's
I feel like that YouTuber Vic DiBattista. If you guys know it, if you don't, watch Vic DiBattista. But it is what it is.
as I always say.
Okay, let me go back here.
So I'm.
All right. Okay. Looks like we got some more people
Hey, we
joining
got
in.
Joe and we
So
got Stevie today.
welcome to
How you
Linux B team for this evening.
Hello, Carmini.
Hey, Joe.
Hello, Pizza Face Panico.
How you doing?
Cheers.
I never got a notification on your email.
Really.
Yeah, I just finally brought it up, and I was like, oh, there's the message.
I sent it like 10 minutes ago. Okay. I don't know. Maybe it's a cold weather.
Hey, Steve.
don't
Hey,
know.
Joe.
Well, glad
Hey,
to have
Ben. Hey,
glad to have
Joe.
glad to
Carmine.
have everybody here. So
Yeah, Merry
Yeah,
Christmas Day after.
Merry
absolutely.
Christmas late.
Yeah, we talked about we planned this from last Friday's stream. We had Slim Man on, I think. Yeah, I think it was last
Yeah,
Friday.
we had
So
Slimmy on.
I had a feeling it was going to be a very cold weekend, and it is. There's a wind chill factor. There was a wind chill factor of 0, which is a
Yeah.
bit too cold for my Strombolis. So yeah.
Oh, boy.
So let me look at the YouTube studio stream. It looks good. Okay, very good. All right, so like I was saying, this will probably be the last live show for this year. I got a message from Comcast saying Happy Holidays. Your rates are going up next month and all that stuff. So
Oh, jeez.
if you haven't already, donate now or later if you watch this on the repeat. If you can, please donate to feedingamerica.org. There should be a donate button on the top right page. Click that. That donate button is sponsored by YouTube. 100% goes to Feeding America. YouTube will cover all of the expenses. Last I checked, unofficially, I think we have $96 raised. I would love to crack $100 tonight if we can. For the organization. I don't have to tell you when you turn on the news how pretty grim it is for a lot of families. So if you can help out,
Yeah.
great. Slim Man did his fundraiser this past Tuesday night on his Facebook Live. I believe he raised over $2,000. So awesome, Slimmy.
Good for him. Yeah.
All right.
That was nice for a Children's Hospital in Baltimore. Not surprising. Lots of good singing. I can sing. Maybe if I could sing. Maybe if we had Stephanie on, we could raise some more. I don't know. Stephanie's back, by the way. She posted a new video on YouTube. She sang Deck the Halls, Fa La 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 with llamas or something like that. Anyway, it was cute.
Man.
It was cute. So go ahead and check that out. So she's back at home up in Boston area with her family. So welcome back, Stephanie. Let's see. What else do I have here? So again, if you can, go to the donate button. Go to feedingamerica.org. It's on the top right on the page. I believe it's a big blue button. I thought it was red, but it's blue. Click that. Maybe we can raise a few more bucks for Feeding America for this evening. I saw a video.
Holy mackerel!
I saw a video on Brian Lunduke uploaded something. Is Linux boring?
So kind of you.
And I'm like, man, that is complete bullshit. Excuse me.
Yeah.
It's a joke, but anyway, check out his video. Is Linux boring? He had some good points to that. I don't have the link for that, but if you guys want to check it out, I thought he made some good points. Is Linux boring? So welcome to everybody here in the chat. I'll try to keep an eye on this as best as I can. I did post a new video for this evening on what is supposedly #1 distribution for beginners and intermediate and advanced users from Linspire, according to their website.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I meant to ask Carmine, how's your hand doing?
I don't know if you can see that, but the stitches are off, and it's healing nicely. The nurse said it looks beautiful, so hopefully it'll be like another week or two, be completely healed. Yeah, be careful when you're playing with Arch Linux. It's very dangerous. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I don't know.
Anyway, Juzu's in the house. Funny how YouTube takes happily super chat, but it's impossible to donate to charity. If that link does not work, go to feedingamerica.org. I think the link may not work in certain countries.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I have no control. If it does not work, that's okay. Click that if you can't, because that'll give me like a total, like a running total. If it doesn't work, go to feedingamerica.org. That should work. If it can't, donate to your local food pantry or charity or
whatever.
Your version of the Salvation Army or whatever. You know, if it doesn't work, that's cool. Just go to your local thing and we'll go from there. I was just hoping on that donate button there's a running total that we can crack $100 tonight or more. If not, that's okay. All right, so go to that. All right, I think I said hello to everybody here in the chat so far. Again, if you watch this on the repeat, once YouTube finishes processing the video, you can watch this fully. So tonight is just an open chat. I'm just calling this Linux Live and more. It's been a while since we've done one of these. So like many people, we're snowed in or frozen in. So Joe, what's the weather like where you're at?
It's bitter. I don't know what the actual temperature is, but it was sub-zeros here the last couple of days. So yeah, I don't know what it is right now. I could take a look, but
here
it's cold.
It's 21.
What about you?
Yeah, it's 21 here today. Right now, I mean,
mine.
Yeah, that's what it is here.
it was up to 35 today.
Ooh, a heat wave.
Summertime,
Nice.
yeah.
But it was was it windy by you too, Steve? It was very, very.
You should
windy
see the
here.
branches in my backyard.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So,
Well, we got about 6
it's,
inches of snow, so
It's 20 here and clear.
I don't know if it's going to come your way, Carm, but they're talking by Tuesday, and I think it's going to be north of us anyway. But they're talking like northern Wisconsin is going to be 12 to 14 inches.
I thought I saw it, yeah. All right, Juzu, it says you cannot donate in your region. None of the charities work from Finland. Okay. Thank you for joining me, by the way, all the way from Finland. That's awesome. Yeah, if you can't go to feedingamerica.org, just donate to your local. You know, here we have like a Salvation Army with the red kettle. If you have a version of that there, then, you know. Thank you for at least trying. It's greatly appreciated. So salute to Finland. Isn't Finland the home of Nokia cell phones?
I believe it is, yeah.
Cheers. Yeah.
You're here.
By the way, I want to thank the Linux community for sponsoring the red wine tonight. Someone donated on PayPal, so greatly needed to keep me warm.
Yeah.
Linux and wine, not the software
Linux
wine.
and wine.
This wine is the best wine.
Yeah.
Hello, Chris. Welcome to the stream. How are you?
Yes.
28 degrees Celsius there. Isn't that like warm where you're at? It's Celsius? Yeah, that's pretty cool. You're not in Australia, are you? Because it's the...
Yeah, he is. He's the Birdman from Australia. How you doing, Chris?
Lucky dog, you.
Chris and Mike.
Great. Okay. That's cool.
Vince would be missing the -6C here.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, Jules, it is the home of Nokia. That's right. And the home of Mr. Linux himself, Linus Torvalds. You went to the same university where he released Linux 1.0. Wow, cool.
Oh,
That's good.
Yeah. Awesome. Very good.
That's good.
Good day, Chris. Awesome. All right, so as far as a quick year in review in Linux, I think there were some great releases, stellar releases, including the latest Ubuntu, Linux Mint. I think Zorn had an update. Again, I'm picking these what are designed mainly for beginners because that's what this channel was created for mainly still.
Yeah.
You know, there are...
Manjaro had a new release, Carmine.
Yes, they did. I would not recommend that for a beginner. I just don't trust rolling releases for a beginner. I just don't. I think it's gotten better, but too much can go wrong once you turn on the Arch user repository. Because that's
that's why you don't turn it on.
That's why you don't turn it on. Don't turn it on, right?
Yeah, you don't turn it on unless you
That doesn't
absolutely
mean you don't
need
have issues.
said package.
Right.
Well, and like I mentioned to you in one of your streams,
Yeah.
there's been updates coming down even today. I mean, almost daily now on this, and I noticed one of them was something to do with Flatpaks, and after that, I was having issues in the package manager here on Manjaro trying to do the updates. You click update, and it would just spin, but nothing would happen. So I went in. Finally, I thought, well, let me do a little research. I checked. I saw, well, maybe I'll just do I saw a command for a Flatpak update or upgrade, as they call it.
Yeah.
And that took boom, and it's like right after that it was working. So maybe something glitched in the actual update when it was being done or whatever.
It could be.
So, but
It could be. Yeah.
otherwise, the other thing that I've had with this is I tried to, you're supposed to be able to go into and get some of these other themes and stuff like that. And there was one that I really liked in particular, and it seemed like every time I would try to change from a theme that was not included in Manjaro, it was messing up the package manager feature bar or title bar again, where it would get like almost like double weird buttons. And after reinstalling this a few times, I just said, you know what, I'm gonna leave it alone. And actually I installed a bunch of Flatpaks thinking I'd be maybe a little safer than the official repositories too, just kind of because they're isolated, that rather than messing with the system. And then that happened with the Flatpak. But honestly, I haven't had that issue, knock on wood, so far, with the package manager, with not messing with the theme again. So,
Okay.
Fair
enough.
It's been stable. Yeah.
Yeah, the last time I tried Arch-based, everything went bonkers after I turned on the AUR. But it warned, this is dangerous. This may damage. Yeah. I remember cracking a joke. As soon as I saw that, I had a fire extinguisher, so I grabbed it. But I came prepared with the fire extinguisher. And Spatry says, "Yo, you need a fire extinguisher to use." Blah blah blah. Anyway.
Well, I'm going to keep working on you to try Manjaro again because it is nice.
Not going to happen.
Really
not gonna
just
happen.
Come on, throw it on a machine you don't care about. Try it once.
I'm comfortable with Ubuntu Mate because with Ubuntu Mate, I've never had to use any Motrin. Never.
Oh, God.
It's here.
You're a lightweight.
I just made a USB stick from Garuda.
I think Garuda looks wonderful. Garuda Linux. It's the most colorful one I've seen so far. It really, really looks nice.
Yeah.
Anna Grubbs is saying it's pretty good with gaming because of the way they got the kernel and all that set up.
Right. I'm actually working on a release of a Gentoo respin with Calamaris on it.
Okay. Doesn't Garuda sounds like it should be like in a Godzilla versus Garuda movie or something?
That would actually be pretty
Doesn't it sound like it? Garuda.
Yeah.
Garuda
And King Kong. This is supposed to be Godzilla King Kong coming out. Well, I think it was due to this year, but the pandemic changed everything.
And they were supposed to make another Top Gun movie, but that got on hold because of the pandemic.
I believe it's finished. It's coming out next spring.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of movies, MGM is for sale. The legendary MGM studio that holds all the Bond flicks. I guess they're in trouble. I guess they might go into bankruptcy. They're on. I was going to say on sale. They're for sale for about $5 billion. That's not bad for a movie studio, considering the last Bond movie grossed almost $1 billion. $5 billion for everything really isn't a bad deal when you think about it. You know.
No, it's not.
You know, I don't have it. I'm about $1 billion short. If anybody can spare $1 billion, it'd be great to invest in it. You know, I wish.
Make them an offer they can't refuse, and then you get your dad's movie out, and you got it made.
I'll buy the studio, put my dad's movie. Well, if I had that kind of money, I wouldn't need them, would I? You know.
Yeah.
Make an offer you can't refuse to buy the studio. Okay.
The real question is, did you see or acquire the new remake of Godfather 3?
I read about it. I did not see it yet. I believe the beginning and the ending has been changed, rearranged so it makes more sense. From what I read, there are spoilers, but I kind of knew what he was going to do, Francis Ford Coppola, and it makes more sense that way. They trimmed like a couple minutes from it. He remastered it, upgraded it to 4K, the video and the sound and all that. I have not seen the new version. Have you?
Not yet.
No, I have
I
not.
would like to.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing it, 30 years later just to go back to the story. But there's hint at Godfather 4 with Andy Garcia playing the new Godfather.
That would be an interesting one.
It would be very interesting. I mean, they should make a Godfather like with the 5 families, the heads of the 5 Linux families. We got Ubuntu, Ubuntu, and have a little like distro war,
Yeah.
Heck, I mean, they should make a Hallmark channel based off of Linux theme. Like a developer from Arch falls in love with a developer from Debian or something, and they're arguing about Flatpaks. So at the end, they have to come to terms.
And guess what? This repository got together with this Flatpak, and it became a snap.
It became a snap. Bada boom. The Linux Hallmark channel. Hey, but that's an idea for Hollywood.
Well, here's a Wonder Woman Hallmark connection for you. I guess one of the characters in it does a lot of the Hallmark movies, Christmas movies. I don't remember the actor's name, but my wife pointed it out to me because we watched Wonder Woman 1984 HBO Max last night.
Yeah. I heard that was disappointing. Something about it wasn't as good as the first one, and the villains aren't as villainous or something. I don't know. I'm not going to see
Patty
it.
Jenkins wanted more of a Christopher Reeve Superman feel to it on this one. More hope. That's why she didn't have her sword and shield. It was different. I enjoyed it. My son was all excited to see it.
I have a quick question. Is Wonder Woman single? What's her name? Gal? Is she single? If she is, I might watch it.
In real life?
Yeah, in real life. Okay, I'm just curious.
Linda Carter? I don't know.
No, it's not. It's what's her name? Gal?
Oh, the other one, the new one.
Yeah, I'm just kind of curious.
There's a surprise at the end of the movie, since you mentioned Linda Carter.
See. Why am I not surprised? I started screenwriting. My last year in college, I wrote almost 2 scripts. So I started screenwriting. So it's like when I'm watching the movie, it's like, don't go there. I remember watching The Force Awakens. Star Wars, what was it, about 5 years ago, right?
Yeah.
I'm sitting there watching with my son, and I'm like, don't you kill off Han Solo. Don't you bleep it. And they killed him off. I wanted to leave. Because I was like, I could have wrote this. But in my mind, I did write it.
Yeah.
Oh, I was so ticked off, Anyway.
Yeah, I was too.
What is with these movie companies, and you have successful movies, they end a certain way, you're up on a high note, and they always got to come back and kill everybody off then afterwards. I don't get that.
It's like what happened with Luke Skywalker.
Nosy says Gal Gadot was not single. Ugh. Okay,
Yeah.
that was worth a
I
shot.
mean, it's
Well,
like, the way they ended the whole Star Wars saga, as I felt, was just stupid.
I didn't like The Force Awakens. It was so predictable, and I wanted to leave.
Yeah.
Well, I guess they're having like major success with on the Disney Plus channel with all the standalones.
Vince,
Cool.
Oh,
Vinny
I got
boy,
some-
how's it going?
And Patty Jenkins is actually making one of the
Vince.
Disney Plus
G'day.
episodes.
Well,
Yeah.
now that I was told Gal Gadot's not single, I need another drink. I'm so bummed.
Hey, Vince.
All right, Vince.
Forget the glass, Carmine. Just go straight for the bottle.
Vincenzo, yeah, straight for the bottle. Anyway, we were just talking about Wonder Woman 1984. No, what did I see last that was pretty good? The guy from 300, the actor, Spartan guy. Gerald.
Butler? No.
Yeah, Gerard Butler, and yeah,
Gerard Butler.
Jerry Butler, something like that. It sounds like a quarterback, but no, it's what the heck was it called? Oh, Greenland. It's a disaster flick, and it's actually less special effects and more of a story. I was surprised, so check out Greenland. You might like it. Yeah, I'm looking at it, I said, don't go with the $100 million special effects. They definitely did not spend $100 million. Not that it looks bad, but they spend just enough on the special effects where it actually tells a story. I think you'll like it. I won't spoil it, but check out, just like it sounds, Greenland. I mean, like the story ends in Greenland, but I won't give it away. So check out Greenland if you want a good story. I don't know if they use Linux to make the special effects. I wasn't there. But check out the story. The movie Greenland was not bad. So,
Cool.
Garuda Linux is from India, says Nosy. Yes, it is. It is a godlike bird from the family of eagle. Mentioned in Indian scriptures. Interesting. Well, thank you. I did not know that.
Well,
I haven't
by
looked
what
at
I
their
saw-
forum, but I understand their forum is pretty
Okay.
typical.
Okay.
What was,
I did like what I saw. I think it's the most
expect you know how to
colorful.
read.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
they're
the
pretty
most
nice
colorful.
to you if you know how to read. Well, that's nice.
The doctor is in the house. How are you, sir? It's been a while. Doctor 66 is in the house. Welcome to a Linux Live for, I know it's what, 2 a.m. there, 3 a.m. for you? Thank you for stopping by.
Yeah,
If I remember correctly where you live. Awesome. Awesome.
yeah, he's a British guy, so
Yeah, I
remember the Godfather doesn't forget his friends, you know.
but awesome. Great to have everybody here for this cold, winterish, I suppose, normal Saturday evening. Where was I? Yeah, so we were talking about Garuda Linux. I mentioned a beta release for Linspire. Looks pretty good. I don't know if it's number one, but could it be on the top 10 lists for beginners? Yeah, from what I saw today. Sure.
you forgot MX.
MX. Well, I did Linspire today, but
Yeah, MX.
I started watching your video. I haven't
you know,
gotten too far into it.
I'll recommend anything that's stable for beginners and that's ezy to use.
Yeah,
Why
MX.
not?
It's based on Debian, but it's pretty good for beginner people.
Hello, Adam. How are you? And I think you donated to Feeding America last week, if I recall. So thank you. Again, if you're watching this, just tune in. If you can, donate to Feeding America if you can. There's a donate button to the top right of this page, or go to feedingamerica.org. Something that we can do to help out. I actually have to. I also donate. I got a reminder from St. Jude's Hospital. These are two organizations that I give to around the holidays. Feeding America and St. Jude. So, and you've seen the commercials on TV for them. So if you can, donate to them too. It's Christmas, so do the right thing. Right thing, damn it. Adam is doing all right, just tuning in while doing other things. The standard evening. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just chilling for this evening for Saturday night. I got my driveway all shoveled. I cracked the joke I posted on Facebook. What's the name of that country song? Take the snow and shovel it, or something like that.
Take this job.
Take this job. Yeah, I was close. Well, shoveling is a job, so.
But same thing.
Same thing.
And so you're
Yes.
talking about all this cold and snow. I'm sitting there with a skull cap on, and Vince is down there sitting in his heart-shaped boxers.
Oh,
You can't
shut
see it,
up.
so.
Oh God.
Yeah, but you know what? When it's his winter and it's 60 degrees out, he's in a skull cap and jacket, and we're like in shorts.
My father's thought it's going to be 37 down here in Florida, and I'm going like this inside the WhatsApp. We're talking, and my sister says, your violin's starting to wear out. I go, yeah, I feel sorry for you. Here, I said, well,
Vince.
just 37 below zero here. So
Vince in Australia, do you have iguanas?
It's gonna.
It's curious.
I don't think so. We have other types of lizards.
Okay. No, the
but
reason
not
why I
iguanas.
asked, there was a weather report out of Florida: falling temperatures and falling iguanas. Whoa! Look out! One just fell right now. No, but I guess when it gets cold, their feet can't stick to the tree, so they drop.
yeah,
I don't know why I find that funny. It's just funny. It's
They can't handle cold
Iguana.
temperature anyway.
It sounds like a horror movie, doesn't it? Falling iguanas versus Sharknado or something, you know.
yeah.
And anyway,
Give it
cheers
time.
to Australia. Salute.
Hey,
I'm
dolphins in the
going to
house.
drink to everything tonight. It's the holiday, so.
G'day, Dolphin.
Speak of the devil, you mentioned Debian, and look who showed up. How you doing, Dolphin?
Awesome.
Hey, Dolphin Man.
Yeah. Doctor says you're not going to like me, but I am using Windows 10. Banjero sucks. That's fine, Doc. Look, I still use Windows
Hey,
10.
that's okay, man.
I don't need Windows 10 or use Windows 10 as much as I used to. But if look, use what works to make use of less of pills, Doc. If you got to use Windows 10, that's fine, man. It's all
Hey,
about
that's what I want
making your
to do
life
that. For
easier.
what?
You know.
Yeah. Hey,
I use
you know,
Windows maybe 10, 20% now. Ubuntu Mate, really, for what I do, I got to give Martin Wimpress credit. Credit is due.
Yeah,
So
he
it
makes
just
life
works.
so much less
Yeah.
headaches.
If Banjero doesn't work, not a problem. Go with Windows
Yeah.
10. If it works, it works. You know.
Yeah, that's what my tower's been on for the past, 6 months, if not more. I mean, I have to say, this tower that I'm talking to you guys through hasn't seen a reinstall since the beginning of the year, if not more. So I think this tower has kept Windows 10, even on a clean install, since birth, maybe, of the machine.
So iguanas go dormant in cold temperatures. So what? They just fall asleep on a tree limb and just drop? Is that what happens in Florida? I just
Yeah, I know mine.
I got a vision of you're driving on Rick and then you see these falling iguanas.
They're falling all over the place.
It's just I just find that amusing. Just something. Now watch some clever guy Iguana OS. You watch with the green
Iguana
thing.
OS.
Yeah.
Oh God.
You watch, it might happen.
Well, could be funny. Could be called Serpent Toss.
Yeah. Yes.
Serpent OS.
Yeah. So instead of
Like a snake.
yeah, they'll be using web-based apps. Get it? Web feet. Anyway.
Web feet. Yeah. Oh God.
If you haven't already, you guys joining in late, catch last week's live show we did. We had Slim Man come in for it. He did a live song for us called Christmas Eve that you might like.
Dr. 66 wants to jump in.
Well, Doc, I need your email. Don't
So
post it
they
in the
can
chat.
email.
Don't post it in the chat. Send it to me. Don't give out your email. Send it
Don't
to
give
me,
out your email in
and
the.
I will send you a link. How does that sound, Doc?
Yeah.
We'll do it that way, okay? What was I saying? Yeah, check out Slim Man did a song for us around the 26-minute mark, 27 minute, a song he wrote 12 years ago called Christmas Eve that I think you might like. You can also catch him on Facebook Live Tuesdays and Thursday nights. I think he's still doing the shows. Facebook Live, so yeah, just send me an email, totalostoday1@gmail.com if you want to join, and I will send you the link, okay? We'll do it that way, guys.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
All right.
easy.
So we were talking about the Linux year in review. I think we had talked about it was nice to have Lenovo has 30 choices now with pre-installed Ubuntu for their machines. I think that's terrific. Of course, Chromebook sales went through the roof.
And System 76 is now shipping with Pop! OS pre-installed, which is nice.
So
hey, Danny boy, what's up, man?
welcome,
How you doing,
welcome,
Dan?
Michigan man.
Shut up,
Mr. Michigan.
Dan.
You are muted.
Hello there, Dan.
You're muted, dude.
Hey, Dan.
No, in Google Meets, Dan.
Oh, okay.
You muted-
Google
There you
muted
go,
in the-
mate. Like I
Okay.
said, this is the Linux B team tonight.
Well,
Yeah.
I had tore this machine completely apart trying to get Cyberpunk to run on it.
Oh,
That's
God.
that game.
Yeah,
That game is so bugged, dude. It's not even funny.
that's what I read.
Well, they released some new
I think-
patches. It's supposed to be better now on some machines, but
Oh, thank
in your
God.
case, Dan, you got to get rid of the gerbil. He can't pedal fast enough.
Gotta get
Dude,
rid of it.
I went to Proton D and tried everything them guys had recommend. I guess Arch-based distros favor it the most for Linux.
Oh,
But
Oh, tell the
Um,
doctor that one.
NVIDIA graphics cards will give you the most problems if you update to like Mesa 20 something and use an AMD card. They're supposed to run right out of the box.
oh gosh.
Well, like I said, I know they just released some patches. I don't know if you saw that, Dan. I think in the last couple of days.
Yeah, I got like
Something.
1.6.
Oh, no, I'm talking about Cyberpunk. Is that what you're talking about?
Cyberpunk released a patch. Yeah.
Okay.
Cyber patch.
Yeah.
Cyber sexy.
I gave up on it until it matures more.
I heard a cute joke today. It was so cold outside, a penguin gave me the flipper.
Yeah, hold on.
Cute.
Yeah.
Cute, buddy, cute.
Yeah, send me an email, Doc. I don't see it. TotalOSToday1@gmail.com. I'll send you the link.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Joe, they call it Hotfix 1.06 was the latest
Okay.
one.
Fix 1.06. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember who somebody did a video on it that they said it was running better, but again, you still got to have a pretty substantial
You
machine.
You know what? I can get it to work on Linux for like 10 minutes if I use one of Glorious Egg Roll's Proton builds.
Yeah.
If I use one of the Proton builds from Valve, it don't work at all.
Yeah.
Well, I know the whoever I was
I'm using
watching
the,
2600, a Ryzen 2600 or something, and they were able to make it work decent enough, but it still had lower frame rates, but it was steady or stable.
Yeah, I tried
Sorry,
those.
That game is so
Frame rate.
demanding and ain't even funny.
You know what? It looks great if you can get it to run. It's almost like you're watching a movie, but you're part of the movie.
Yeah.
The graphics are that good, even on medium.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
I didn't pay for it. It was a Christmas gift. It was a Steam key.
yeah. So it looks nice even on low settings.
Yeah, my cousin has it. He runs it on Windows, and he still has trouble with it on Windows. The biggest problem is it just locks up and freezes.
Golly, man.
All right, Doc. William, I sent the link. See if that works. If not, I'll send you another one. I had to restart this twice to get my camera to come on, so it might be the wrong link. Okay, so try that,
Yeah.
and I'll send you another one.
Are there any limitations on how many come on here too, or no?
No, no. As far as I know, right now, see, I was gonna jump on Zoom, but it's still a 40-minute time limit. Come on, Zoom. But right now,
Yeah.
there is no limit. I think it's awesome.
I thought
yeah.
they turned that
Still
off.
listing it for the holiday weekend.
You know,
Or maybe it was just a holiday.
I don't know.
We'll do something with it tomorrow.
Let's see. Okay, the links have been set out, and let me go back here. I hit that by mistake. Okay.
Zoom has been a favorite target for hackers lately.
Well, I guess in the beginning they had no privacy protocols in place. Surprise! So they got hacked. My favorite was it was a Bible study on a Sunday, and they got hacked, and they were showing porn on a Bible study.
Porn on a-
Oh God.
Oh,
God,
no, but I wanted to use Zoom because I had to install some of the updates, Zoom and Skype. Skype I know has no limit, but I thought, well, if I go on Zoom and we go with 40 minutes, I got to restart it now. I'm not going to do that. So Zoom, up yours, pal.
Up your bub hole.
I mean,
Yeah,
in
Zoom
the
has
middle of a
always been-
pandemic, and I'm like, come on, you know.
Zoom's been really temperamental for me to use lately. And I think the only person left that I communicate with Zoom with is Steve, because Rocco he's on hiatus. And you know, he's the only other person I needed Zoom for.
It did not work. The link, Doc, or hang on, let me go back. Hang on, I got multiple windows here on my split screen on my 40-inch
That's a
monitor.
stab,
Are
Dan.
you sending out smoky links? What'd you say, Steve?
I said that's a stab, Dan. Rocco's the only one you need Zoom for? Okay.
No, I said you were the other person.
Oh, did you?
Yes, I gave you credit
heard of
for it.
Rocco.
Your live stream just went to your thumbnail.
Okay, give me 1 second. I'm going to reply to. Let's try that. Okay, try now, Doc.
Try now.
And William will go back. Give me 1 second here. We're still here, even though it's showing the thumbnail. Hang on. All right. I don't want to show the.
What's that you're saying about being the B team?
Yeah, I know.
Did you turn off your stream on YouTube?
It's there. I don't want to
It
show
says-
the emails on
That's
the.
fine. I didn't know.
Yeah,
that.
Yeah, you
it's
have
all
it
good.
camouflaged.
Yeah, it's good now. Yeah, okay.
Camera flaged.
Yes. All right, guys. Try the link now. This is my third and last glass of wine tonight because if I drink any more, I'll be welcome to the. Okay.
Help me quick as hell. Hey,
I'm gonna try and get Slim Man back
William.
on next month for another concert.
William, what's up, dude?
William.
Hey, I just wanted to jump in and
Hey,
interact
William.
with the Linux B team. Hey, Dan. Hey to Joe.
How you doing?
Yes, it's
How you doing,
unexpected, but my wine is A+. So thanks to a PayPal donation for the wine is greatly
Hey,
appreciated.
it's Doctor. What you doing,
The
buddy?
My
doctor.
biggest 2020 moment with Linux was trying out Debian Unstable, which it did work, but it blew up on
Doctor,
me.
you
when-
are muted, sir. I'm muted in Google Meet. There's under settings if you
Yeah,
would, please.
it's under the,
There we
hey,
go.
Hey guys, all right?
What's up, mate?
what you doing?
Welcome, Doc.
How's it going then? We're getting blown away over here.
Hey,
Blown away like how?
turn off the YouTube.
The wind is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I just wanted to jump in and interact with the Linux B team. Hey,
William,
Dan.
I'm
William,
getting feedback.
Sorry.
William needs to
Doctor, you
use,
got to mute the live stream.
one of us needs
Stream
to.
pause on my
Doctor,
end.
Doctor's
stream,
got a
Doctor.
headset. Very good.
Mute your YouTube stream.
I
Yeah.
just turned my stream off on my end, so it's not going to come back.
Very
through.
good. Okay.
Yeah, good
Better
idea.
now?
There we go.
Better.
Doctor has some
Yeah.
Logitech headsets, don't you, Doc?
That's right.
I got those too as a
Bring your
backup.
camera
I don't
forward.
wear them
You're
because they're
looking
kind
at
of
the forehead.
like when I put them on. I feel like Princess Leia on Star Wars, with the hair buns.
Well, where I work now, I have to use Teams a lot, so I've got to have a good headset.
It
And
makes
Teams,
sense.
and Teams sucks a little bit too.
Really? Oh wow.
Yeah.
I
had
have
a-
it. I have a Microsoft Teams account. I think I tested it once. It's okay. I don't need that because I got this, or I can use Skype, which works great.
I had a HP headset a long time ago that was a wired headset. It was foldable, but
Yeah.
I broke the headset when I tried to take it off my head too quickly. I snapped the foldable hinge by accident. Oops.
Oopsie.
Okay.
I don't like to ask, but how's the virus over there?
This country is a bleeping mess, sir.
It's in a world of hurt.
The vaccines are going out as planned,
Yeah.
but it's bad. We jumped on the wagon too late. It was funny because last night I was watching a documentary on the 1918 pandemic, the so-called Spanish flu, And there, as I was watching this, you know what? It's the exact same mistakes. History does repeat it. It was exact same
Yeah.
mistakes from politicians and people 100 years ago. The exact same mistakes now. We've learned, well, some. I think some got them, but some have not learned from history. Now I'm looking at them like, oh my God, everything's being repeated. Now back then it was the avian flu. Flu.
I've seen on the news tonight there's a
something.
new strain of COVID that has came out, and it's like over in the UK.
Yeah, it's not as bad as they're making out to be. I
They
think
make everything out like totally as bad as it
Yeah,
can get.
it's sort of everybody's doomed, and it's just absolutely unbelievable. And I don't really want to repeat a news station, but a certain news station that belongs to Murdoch is about the worst.
Yeah, I quit doing business with him with my TV.
I've had friends here who have caught it. Luckily, they have recovered. I felt bad for my one friend. I've known the family for 30 plus years. He was running for office for our state representative, and he caught it a month before the election, and that was the end of his campaign. He lost the election. I felt so bad, but luckily he's
Ouch.
recovered. It's been a disappointing year. And just to cap it off with him losing and me getting 5 stitches on my finger, why not?
Ow.
I was talking to my daughter, the one who's the
It's like
nurse.
what else tits up at this point? I don't know.
I've already had a
asking-
few neighbors caught COVID themselves that I've met that moved into where I'm at. I already had a neighbor next door that caught it. Then I had another neighbor in a wheelchair who caught it. The mama had the symptoms after that. They recovered, but one of my neighbors caught it, had to stay inside. And then my other neighbor that's in a wheelchair, she had it, but she defeated it. She defeated COVID, and
Nice,
she basically got through that. So, yeah.
nice.
What
nice.
my daughter was saying, Carm, is that apparently the way the 2-step process works is the first shot starts building the antibodies, and then the
Yeah.
second shot, 21 days later, is supposed to take care of what would be the different strains of it, because they are planning for multiple strains in that shot, supposedly, at least what she's saying. And I know that they're just starting to roll it into the medical workers here and first responders, things like that.
Yeah.
She was saying that they're talking spring or even summer before the general population really starts seeing it.
They're saying for it to have an effect where the level of cases drops is about 6 months, assuming everything goes to plan. How is it there in the UK for the vaccine there, Doc?
Well, we're sort of split into sort of segments, and the older people are getting it. Sort of 80-year-old. My mum's in that group, and she hasn't had hers yet. And they're slowly rolling it out for them. But I just think that the politicians aren't doing enough,
Right.
Right.
Doc, if you want to adjust your camera, the top of your head and your eyes is cut off so we can see. There we go, sir. Very
To
good.
me, I wanted to say here that as much as it pains me to say this, I think what should have happened was America should have went on lockdown when it was first starting to become a problem to limit it. But I'm still stuck in my house because my town has got the library still shuttered, and the buses have been limiting service, and internet connection problems are kind of occurred where people are stuck at home with data caps. Like Comcast is increasing their data cap to 1.2 terabytes a month, but still, where I'm at with Spectrum, my mom has is unlimited data, but it's supposed to be where caps are supposed to be implemented.
Well-
But what's y'all's opinion on caps and net neutrality? Like putting caps
Comcast is going to start capping next month. I think I still get a terabyte, which should be more than enough. But it's
1.2
funny
terabytes.
because
I know we
Really?
used 300. The most we used in the last 3 months, in 1 month, was 350 gigabytes.
okay. So when I
And
got
we
that
use my
message,
son streams all the time.
yeah, I don't think I want to use a terabyte.
They're going to put a cap in your internet.
Yes, they limit the bandwidth you can send and receive to 1
Wow.
terabyte. AT&T does it, but they do
More-
give you an unlimited data add-on charge.
go.
More and more
Net
people are
neutrality.
home and they're streaming more, and I guess that's what they were worried about.
Yeah,
you
but
know.
They got more bandwidth than they know what to do with.
They don't need to do that. They're just trying to recapture all that money they're losing on people jumping off cable.
That's my guess.
It's the only reason why.
The
No,
only
we-
time
we-
I've made my data usage go up on my phone is 100 gigabytes. It's huge.
I think over here we're a little bit behind you lot. We're still sort of 30, 40 sort of speed, and they think that's great.
What, 30, 40 squirrels or what?
Yeah. Megabytes. It's really slow sort of stuff compared with you guys.
Is it priced right at least?
Prices aren't too bad.
Okay.
But I think possibly there's too many people trying to sort of jump on the bandwagon and do it all instead of having sort of 2 or 3 companies do it.
Well, you have to live like in a privileged area to get the really good speed. If you're like outside the city in any suburbs or something like that, it's more or less touch and go on the area you're at. Not everybody here gets high speed. I'm on DSL and I get 25 megabit tops.
I'm at in my town. I get 200. My mom gets 200 megs a second. She's on cable, and the highest they can go to is a gig where I'm at. But the first thing you get is 200 down and 11 up. But it goes all up to a gig where I'm at.
We were talking about the virus, and I read earlier this year that a supercomputer, I'm sure it's based on Linux, took 4,000 possible drug combinations to find a cure, and it kind of narrowed it down from 4,000 down to 70 something. All because of that supercomputer. Thanks. It has to be Linux. I don't think it was Windows, but it has to be. I'm thinking, well, Linux, So there you go.
I understand there's not a supercomputer that uses Windows.
Not that
Linux to me is like a supercomputer in and of itself already. I mean, I've dealt with it. I've gotten the idea that I'm using Linux Mint Debian Edition in a virtual machine to try out. I like Linux Mint.
I'm using that too.
But what I don't like about the stupid decision of Clem is to not use Chromium directly in Linux Mint. Now they do.
It's politics.
They shouldn't have used. What were they thinking with the Snap not having Chromium available out of hand? Like, what were they thinking?
I don't know. They were forcing you to use terminal commands to install that, or like anything based off of Snap. But it was, I think, but it was that one. I'm like, why?
But it's dangerous to install.
To their credit, though.
Oh, what?
To their credit, they're now packaging Chromium themselves.
Yeah, because they got scared I was going to call
that.
Sicily, call Uncle Guido. That's probably what.
But it was dangerous to install Chromium from third-party repositories. Like, it was dangerous because you could break your system like that.
I don't know. I just think it's silly. Doc, what happened to Monjaro? You said it.
It just sort of does what Manjaro does, explode. And that was that.
Me a couple of times.
And
I had Debian Unstable break on me recently with System D being upgraded.
It all went wrong when Spatry sort of packed in as well. It sort of exploded then. And
before or after you turned on the AUR? Was it before you turned on the
No, I used to keep the AUR on fine. It didn't bother at all.
Yeah.
With me, it was the updates.
That they sent an update out that they'd altered, and it just exploded.
How long ago was that, though? How long ago?
I suppose back November last year.
Really? That recent?
And I haven't used Linux since because I haven't found anything, to my mind, good enough.
Okay.
I found Debian good enough for me, but the unstable branch isn't good, as I've already learned with System D exploding.
That's why they call it unstable.
It blew up in my face with System D version 247.
Well, did you use Bullseye or did you use the experimental?
I went straight to Bullseye from SID because I put the system at stable, went to testing, and went to SID in the correct order, not skipping a branch. I did it that way to the very top. When I did, it upgraded, but then I later waited a few days, and then come to find out System D 247 is available and unstable, but 246 System D was already on my system, So something irresponsibly got held up during the transition from 246 to 247 to System D. So when I upgraded, it said dependency problem. I was like, why is there transition between System D 246 to 247 taking place now when it hasn't even been out yet?
Yeah, because I use the stable, but I use the back ports to get particular things, but not a lot of them.
I have
I just wanted.
Q4OS installed in my original Windows XP ThinkPad that still rocks. ThinkPads are awesome, by the way. But in that I have Q4OS. Yeah, we still have feedback. So I'm hearing feedback, but we still have. I have Q4OS, which is based off of Debian Stable. It rocks.
When I started in Linux, it was back. I started with Linux Mint 15.
Mm-hmm.
That'll tell you how far back I was. And I tried, at that time, I tried Mint and I tried Linux Lite. Linux Lite was quite good then, because what I didn't like was the short-term releases. And when I first started, I didn't realise about these short-term releases.
Yeah.
And I was on a short-term release.
Mm-hmm.
So then I found Matthew Moore.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Yeah, I know him.
Got interested in Manjaro. And that was back when it was 08 something. And 08 110, I think it was. And I just got stuck on it because I couldn't find anything better. To my way of thinking, I couldn't find anything better. I know there is something better, but I haven't found it yet.
I started with Ubuntu in 06, Linux Mint, Zorin, back to Ubuntu. Then when they dropped Unity, I went to Ubuntu Mate full time. And that's it.
Me, I discovered Linux with Ubuntu 904 because I had Windows Vista on a Dell Inspiron 1525 laptop, dual core. I didn't really like. Hold on.
There's still feedback. Yeah. That might
Yeah,
be
I think
you,
it's
Will.
him. It's Susie muted.
Yeah, I don't hear it now, but I mean, we can still hear you. Like just some feedback.
What's weird about that is he's wearing earbuds too.
Are you?
So
I guess you are.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Well, do you have a camera that's actually got speakers on it that are
If it doesn't bother people here on watching it, I don't mind because it's not that bad. It's just there in the background.
Let me turn down the call volume. It should be it because I have a camera.
Okay.
I have like a camera that's on, but it doesn't have speakers built in it. So.
Okay.
Yeah, because the Logitech ones, they got speakers on the side of them.
Right.
And if you don't go in and check them and turn them off, you'll get this kind of thing too.
Doc, let me ask you.
There's a question in chat, guys.
Yeah, go ahead.
Gregory Locke. Yeah, he says, do you guys prefer to manually partition or do you like to use the installer the way it is out of the box?
I do.
I manual.
What do you guys do?
I use
do
Debian's
both.
automatic partition installation
It's
for
fine.
me, but
Yeah.
when it came to Ubuntu 904, I actually did let it do auto partition, but like I said, I discovered Linux through Ubuntu 904, and I got into Kubuntu, Fedora, CentOS, and others, but what got me really in love was the OzGUI Tech Show community that existed in early 2010 to 2011.
Yeah.
I still miss that community because it imploded after, but I loved it. It got me away from Windows because I was like, I want an OS that will not give me headaches or make me want to throw my computer across the room. But I didn't throw my computer. I just was like, I'm sick and tired of Windows giving me these errors. I just want my computer to act the way it should be, not break. Ugh.
Yeah, well, I need to break the chains, but at the present moment, I've got to use it for work, and I've got all the stuff all the rubbish cut off of 10. I've just.
Have you had any I was going to ask you. Have you had any problems with Windows 10 with the updates, like making something not work or crash?
Yeah, I have because. Basically, I wanted to move to something that didn't give me problems, but
it's happened to me once. It was on my son's laptop for school. He did an update, and he had no sound. He says, "Dad, can you fix it?" Yeah, no problem.
I had an issue
I
with Windows.
downloaded update drivers, deleted it, and I said, "What the bleep?" I felt like I had to do a full restore,
Ow.
reinstall of Windows. I'm like, really, Windows 10? It only
I
happened
had
once,
an
but it was
issue
annoying.
with that myself because I had Windows 10 Preview installed on a Toshiba laptop. The touchpad didn't work, my printer didn't work, the sound didn't work, and then it later got better over time. Then again, also Windows is in trouble for breaking computers with SSDs. If you run a system disk check, you'll just blue screen your computer right away. Like it just corrupts the system, the file system on the SSD only. I've not tried this on my computer because the computer I've got has got a hard drive, but I did have an Acer W510 computer with an SSD internal built in, but it's a 32-bit tablet with UEFI. It didn't seem to not do anything at all. I no longer have the tablet now, but however, the SSD for computers with it will be ruined if you run that check disk command.
I thought they patched that already.
Yeah, they fixed that one, but I was like, why is it only SSDs getting affected? It did affect one person who had a hard drive that had a spinning platter hard drive with a virtual machine, I read online, but it was only that one rare instance.
Now, I understand. I've got an SSD. I understand that defragging is not a good idea.
No, you
No,
can't
it's
do that.
not. Don't.
Yeah.
Don't try that.
If you right in Windows 10, if you download, I use Oslogic's defragger. It won't defrag it. It'll do like what's it called the
trim. It'll trim it.
Or like optimize. It'll do that, but it won't defrag. It just won't allow you. So that's
you
good.
never defrag an
Just in
SSD
case.
because it will shorten
And
its
I believe
life.
the built-in Windows 10 defragger won't do it. It'll just optimize it. So I think.
I've had an SSD before, and when I had an SSD, it was a Samsung 250 gig SSD once. I let the software trim it. I never did any kind of defrag. I let the software that came with it trim it. It came on a disc, like it came on like a disc or digital download. I forget how it came with the SSD I ordered from Tiger Direct, but I did, and it worked. But I noticed that the SSD that I put in the old Dell 1525 in 2013, I noticed that my computer had an old SATA controller. It was not crazy fast because the controller was older than the drive itself, as I learned.
You know, I will say this about Linux. I've been doing this channel now for 10 years, knock on wood. But my number one thing I enjoy about Linux since the beginning, the updates are a lot faster and easier versus Windows 10. I had to update a bunch of updates on one of my backup machines, a Lenovo, a 9-year-old Lenovo with the original hard drive spinning. Still works fine. I started on a Saturday, it finished Sunday. Restarting, wash, rinse, and repeat the updates. Because, I mean, you know, in Ubuntu or Linux, you just, you know, boom, done, right? Maybe you have to reboot once. Maybe in the blue moon. And that's the number one thing I enjoy about Linux after waiting for Windows 10, because, you know, with Linux, you update the system, the kernel, all the software, boom, in one shot, you know. And maybe you reboot once, which is still annoying, but not the multiple reboots in Windows 10.
Robert Glock says, it's like rowing a boat.
Yeah, go ahead, Vince.
Yeah, I've enjoyed Linux too.
Stroke.
Yeah, you just row your boat with the updates. You just done, one shot.
There's a funny comment. Robot Glock says, I saw on TV that if you microwave your HD for 10 to 30 seconds in a microwave, it completely defrags it.
Is that before or after drinking water? Is that before or after?
They have a fire extinguisher there, and you have 911.
Yeah, right.
You'll have 911 there in the heartbeat.
Oh man!
You're gonna get sparks everywhere,
and you'll get a fire, and God knows what else will go wrong with that.
Get back to Manjaro. I'm on 20.2 now, because that's got the Plasma 5.20, and that, you know, again, with that couple of glitches I had, it's been fine. Again, it seems like, you know, if you do just some of the simple tweaking in here, like I went to the dark theme and that kind of stuff, the stuff that's already in there, it's been fine. And I anticipated possibly some little niggles here and there because it did just roll out. But there were a lot. One of the nice things I noticed about using the installer is out of the box now, they're asking if you want proprietary drivers installed right out of the gate. It's like I've got an NVIDIA card, so it was fine. And it made it so much easier. Not that it's hard. It's pretty simple to just go in, and even in the 20.1, where you just go into the driver manager and just tell it search proprietary or install them or whatever.
Yeah, proprietary drivers work. I mean, when I dealt with Debian, I would manually install the open drivers, not the proprietary. It's not I don't have a problem with it. No, it's just I'd rather use the open ones due to licensing restrictions or source code issues. But other than that, no, Linux Mint, I would prefer using it because it has a built-in driver manager. But my only question is, have y'all had any Linux distro freeze upon y'all after y'all boot into it upon install? Because when I did a
Not
Linux
lately.
Mint
No.
when I did a Linux Mint install on my desktop, my HP one, it was Linux Mint, not the Debian edition, but it was the regular one that froze my desktop in its entirety, and I had to restart the computer, but it froze after I did an install completely, like it just locked up. And after I did an update, it began to hang.
Not lately. A lot, Linux is, when I started with Linux back in 06 with Ubuntu, if I had to start a YouTube channel with Linux back then, I don't think I could do it. It really, because it just wasn't there yet for mainstream. Now, starting, I would say, about 5 years later, I would say that's when it started to, and I think, at least with Ubuntu, in Ubuntu, the 2016 release with Unity, I think they peaked. It was rock solid on multiple machines. And just as it peaked, they switched to GNOME Desktop. I'm like, really?
I miss KDE 4 and KDesktop Environment 3.5. I miss those because they're so retro, but
yeah,
I know the Trinity Desktop. I love the Trinity environment.
That's what I got on my XP, former XP ThinkPad.
But here's the problem. The Trinity website was down this year for a little bit, and along with the repositories were offline for a couple moments due to they were transitioning to a new hosting provider. So the website and repositories were down for quite some time this year, I remember.
Just a few days ago, the Mint website, their repositories are down because I was trying to reinstall my operating system since I had butchered it so much with Cyberpunk. So after I got my distro, luckily I have my distro on a USB drive, and I can just put it in. And
well, they say you should have something on a USB as a backup in case it crashes, but I haven't seen it happen in Ubuntu Mate, but anything can happen,
So what new distro do you recommend then?
As far as new, I don't know. I've been, I like Q4OS for its simplicity because it gives you multiple choices for desktop environments. You can go with the Trinity, which is what, KDE 3 or 4, or the Plasma one. I like that a lot because it's Debian stable. So it's going to be stable as far as new for me.
Well, the one thing I wouldn't recommend is Seduction because Seduction is Debian unstable rolling, and the developers warn people to check the Seduction forums for upgrade warnings for
it's
one.
Unstable, but that's for DT on distro too.
And two,
that's like a full circle to Arch.
You can't really use you can't use Steam on Seduction because Steam is 32-bit. The Seduction devs made it where only 64-bit is allowed, so you couldn't get Steam on PC Linux OS or Seduction. Those two are only 64-bit. So if you wanted Steam, you would have to stick with Debian or Mageia. I mean, those are your only two choices.
If you look on DistroWatch, I bet you half of those distributions are based off Ubuntu. There has to be a reason.
Well, Seduction's based off of pure Debian when I look through it.
Well, Ubuntu was born from Debian, so it makes sense. When I picked Ubuntu in 06, strictly by accident, I was reading in a magazine, Popular Science or something, and it said, "Are you bored of Windows XP? Try Ubuntu." I was like, "What the freak is Ubuntu?" I'm like, "Wow, this is pretty fast." Even back then, I knew it had potential, but it really wasn't until about, like I said, 5 years later or so, after I went through Linux Mint and Zorin, 2012, that I knew Linux would become more mainstream. Not as quickly as I hope it would. There's still a billion Windows users, But it took a few years, but I knew one day Linux had potential, and here we are.
Linux is
you
cool
know,
and all.
know.
I'm still using Windows because I got an Xbox 360 and PS3 that can act as media clients. It can connect to my Windows machine. I can play video clips over the two consoles. But my HP printer still does not like Linux. My wireless
I
network
haven't had
printer
it
still
because
doesn't like it.
I have a wireless HP printer over here, and it's fine.
William, I got an Epson printer. It will not work in Ubuntu, but Debian picks it right up right away and installs it automatically.
There's still little issues there with desktop, with printers and gaming. I'll do Windows 10 gaming, but yeah.
Mine is an HP DeskJet 2622 with wireless network in it, and it can print over the net, but it will not. It recognized an OpenSUSE once, Debian once, but it won't recognize again, just because it says something about a firewall blocking the ability to discover it in OpenSUSE, which is weird. But Debian, it worked fine.
Did you try just to hook it up with a USB cable?
I did, but that's only for the first time setup. It won't require it every time for that.
I bet you all these issues we still have with with video drivers, I mean, like wireless printers. I bet if we had quote unquote a standard Linux distribution or Linux machine that you could walk into a Best Buy, Walmart, Smith Mart, whatever you want to call it, that you can buy off the shelf that was popular, I bet all those problems will be solved right now, because now you would have quote unquote a standard computer based off a standard Linux distribution. And we've talked about this before. To me, it doesn't matter what it's based on. It could be based off of Arch as long as it works. Chromebooks are based off of all things Gentoo, not for beginners, but it works because Google and the manufacturers have perfected that machine. I have an Acer Chromebook. Never had a problem, never. 0 bugs, nothing. That's the possibility of Linux. I wish we had more of a choice than just a Chromebook. I wish we had the Ubuntu desktop or whatever.
That's like saying all the automobiles should be exactly the same.
Well, no. You still have your distributions for choice. You can install your own. So, it's yeah.
The thing is about Linux is it's about choice, though, isn't it? That's the whole idea, the whole conception of it.
But having a standard for, Windows 10 dummies, as it were, that would be another choice. Wouldn't that add to the choice? I'm just saying.
I think it would reduce the competition on developing different distros.
I don't think so. I think
do. Everybody wants their own build. It's like part of their DNA or something.
Hence we have fragmentation. So
yeah, sorry about that.
I don't think it's going to take away anyone's choice.
Yeah, I don't
think
so.
Having something that's pre-installed is not going to take away anyone's choice.
I don't think so. Yeah.
To your point, Carmine, there was a big step taken this year, and you mentioned it earlier, and that's having Ubuntu installed on Lenovo ThinkPad.
That's
a huge
plus. I just wish we had machines starting at $400 and then $1,000, because now you're going into Mac territory.
Well, $1,000 is fine for those who can afford it. I'd rather have my Linux to where I can customize it to my way, how I want it to run, how I want it to look.
That choice will always. That's never, because there's too many of those people. Like myself, even now, who still have to try something new from Linux. Having quote unquote a standard desktop for the newbies in a Walmart or whatever adds to the choice for the consumer. Not necessarily for us geeks who've gotten used to this over the years, but it adds to it and would expand the exposure for Linux. And would solve the issues of graphics drivers and printer drivers.
The impression that I got, though, was it sort of moved away from the whole point of it is using old equipment as well. That whole perception seems to have gone, which to me is a bit of a shame, because some people like myself can't afford to go out and buy new machines.
The computer I got is $50. I brought off Macari renewed, and it was affordable than paying over $1,500 or $800.
Well, look, some of the comments I've gotten in the past, and maybe we'll do what I call a comments corner, focusing on some comments. One of the comments that stuck with me is I don't use Linux because it's just a goddamn nightmare. meaning you never know when your video drivers will work, printer drivers or whatever else, because again, we don't have quote unquote a standard of quality. Look, we all have our favorite distributions, whether it's Ubuntu Mate, Linux Mint as a standard of quality, which is great. But if there was quote unquote a national company, now Lenovo's doing it with 30 machines. That's great. Dell has System 76. But when you start at close to 1,000 or more, now you move into Mac territory. You're defeating the purpose. I think we need a $400 machine, or a little higher or more, so people can walk into a Walmart, mom and pop, a family of 4, especially now with this pandemic, maybe some are working or not working. They can buy it, take it home, and see just how wonderful it can be, where you don't have to wait 24 hours to reboot and install Windows 10 updates. But when you're starting at $1,000, it's not going to go to the masses. It'll go to select people. And
that's $1,000. There are some that are $700-800.
It's still too high.
But you still have the Chromebook, which is that $400 slot that you're talking about,
That's great, but it's not enough.
And I get what you're saying. You'd like to see Ubuntu in that slot, but to me,
or
I'm
any
grateful
Linux.
to even have what we do have so far.
Right.
And the other thing is in fairness to the driver issue, my brother printer here, I get it to work, and I'm on Manjaro, and I do just the basically the GUI install. And, I have to search a little bit to get the scanner going or whatever. But now I know when I want it to work on Ubuntu, which I have Ubuntu 20.04 running on the other machine, I go into the manufacturer's site. I go on there and I download the deb packages. I install it, and everything works like that. And that's part of the thing is because if you remember right, even with Windows, and it's still the case today in many cases that you have to go out and still seek out your drivers for Windows too. And I don't think Windows is any better when it comes down to updates, wondering if it's going to be working tomorrow or after you just got done or whatever.
Wait a minute, Joe. I wanted to second guess what you just said. I mean, I understand your point. I've got a Razer gaming mouse that when I plug it into Windows, it automatically downloads the Razer Synapse software through Windows Update within seconds.
Right. That's some hardware. It's still not everything. There are still. What my point was is there's still some hardware that you still, even with Windows, have to go out and seek drivers out for. You have to. Yeah. It doesn't have everything that's out there for every piece of hardware. It's like anything else. There's quite a bit. There's obviously a lot more than Linux. But when
that's one thing.
At Linux 10 years ago or 15 years ago now, because we've been doing this for the past several years that we've known each other. And I was talking 10 years prior to that. I mean, I've been using Linux since 2006. And when you look at what I started from where you came from, to even just try to get a distro installed with having to basically compile it yourself on a disk, and you had to use Windows to do it, to now where you just go get a flash drive, you burn it, and boom, you plug it in, and 9 times out of 10, everything works out of the box.
That's one thing that I will say about Windows. I personally thought, I'll get it pre-installed. It's fine. It'll all work. I won't have any problems with it.
Yeah, it's as far as
wrong.
well, so far I only had the problem once, and I call it as I see it. I still don't trust the update, so I still don't trust Windows 10 update. But for me, only the one time I've had the issues with drivers, and of all things, it was the sound, of all the things. But there's no question that Microsoft botched Windows 10 for the update process. The core system is wonderful. Just don't do any updates and you're fine. No, but it's afterwards that it's a hit and miss. It's almost become more Linuxy. It's a hit and miss with the updates.
It has, yeah.
Windows 10 is also very time consuming to install right out of the box.
Yes,
it asks you all this. Would you like to get friendly with this? Would you like to get friendly with that?
It takes 2 hours for me to do an install on my. If I do a reinstall, it takes 2 hours. That's it.
Are you happy with this?
William, there's a nice video of your fan. I don't know where your face went.
Sorry.
Something
I had to put my
to
camera
consider
down
is
before I drop it.
There's something to consider with all this, and that is that it costs money for someone like an Ubuntu to validate that their operating system works on a Lenovo laptop with all the hardware, like for example the Bluetooth, the Wi-Fi, the fingerprint reader, and so it actually costs them money to actually get it working. Now, with all hardware manufacturers actually validating their software for Windows anyway, they don't really need to spend any more money to validate on Windows, but Ubuntu does and Fedora does when they go out and have to partner with Lenovo, and I think that needs to be considered.
Yeah, Alan Pope said that they do have people that go to the places where they develop these laptops so they can have the drivers to build in the kernel and all that.
You
So-
don't want to buy $1,000 ThinkPad with Ubuntu, but then you have a problem with drivers. That's the end.
I
of
mean,
that
even
sale.
the fact
I
if you buy it without Linux on it,
Oh, okay.
they have a team that still goes
Yeah,
to these
yeah,
places and gets
yeah.
what they need to make sure Ubuntu will work for someone when they install it. They try their best.
Yep.
But see, in
So when you
fairness
talk about
to that,
when we
Vince,
talk
in
about a
fairness-
four
in fairness-
to 500, yep, go on.
No, I was going to say to your statement though, that's not really 100% correct. And the reason why I'm going to say that is a simple example is anytime you have a rollout of a new, like we've had the 5900 series with AMD, you've had 6800 with AMD, you've had the 30 series of NVIDIA. A lot of these you would assume are all pre-tested with Windows and the different drivers or whatever. And many times it's not necessarily always Microsoft's fault, but the motherboard manufacturers are not ready for maybe the new processors. You know, they have to get the sockets ready, and then there's also drivers that have to be brought out.
But that
for Windows
speaks
to be
more
able to make
towards-
all that play nice. So there's
Does that not
still-
speak
there's-
more towards people releasing things before they're actually ready and baked?
Right, but the point is Windows still has to also, or Microsoft still has to work with them for those hardware changes. That's my point. I guess kind of contrary to what you were just saying. I get what you're saying overall in general, it might be, but I still think as new hardware comes out, it's no different for Canonical or anybody else. You still
Can I announce a security bulletin?
Sure.
The Lenovo working.
I
with these
learned. Sorry to interrupt, Joe.
Go ahead.
I wanted to say to y'all that there is a new type of malware that could infect UEFI computers where it can install itself to UEFI to where it can make itself hard to remove, meaning the UEFI is messed up to where it's in there, not in the hard drive. I remember hearing about a type of malware that could infect UEFI systems and hide inside the Unified Extensible Firmware Interface part of your computer, meaning it just lives there, but you can't really remove it due to it being so low level.
If what I'm what you're talking about is what I'm thinking. I heard too is that's already been patched too. If that's the same thing we're talking about, so
Yeah, that's what I was saying, that most people may not know about that, and I didn't. I was like, UEFI malware infecting the malware, or malware living in the UEFI of the computer. I'm like, oh no. I was scared I was scared because I was like, maybe I should never touch a computer again to use it. But
quite
luckily I
honestly,
never-
Linux patches faster than Windows too, and one of the recent patches that you were talking about took a lot longer to come out for Windows than it should have, and Linux had it out weeks before.
And Linux kernel 5.9 is already underway with a Bluetooth patch issue been fixed, but I'm waiting for kernel 6 to come out to fix more problems that are reported. But
5.10 will come out before 6, and 5.9 is actually coming into life.
yeah, I would rather have 5.10 come out, but wait till 6.0 hits to fix more problems that are unknown. I would rather wait till Linux patches itself more to fight off the problems that Windows takes a lot longer to get. But I don't mind waiting for updates in Windows or Linux, either one, as long as I can get those updates in, I'm fine.
I'll tell you what I had the other day. I had a phone call saying that I had some unusual activity on my IP address.
A scammer.
And I thought, here we go, a scammer.
Oh boy!
You know, I
I've had
haven't
that-
gotten that kind of a phone call, but if I do, I'm going to turn down Arnold. Blah, I will terminate you. Blah, blah. Just
My mom's had a scammer on her home phone more than like 4 times, and talking about a virus on my own computer, and I kept them tied up on the phone. At one point, I kept them tied up until 12:30 at midnight. I was able to keep them on the phone for over a half of an hour, and I was able to record them on YouTube and put them on YouTube saying, hey, this is what you get with these idiot scammers that say, oh, you got a virus on your computer. but it's BS because Quids Up did a video on it, and I'm like, I know these scammers are trying to say
sometimes
you want
yeah.
to give up control.
So sometimes you get those around tax season. Your assets have been frozen. I have assets? I have assets where? Right? Where are they? Yeah.
I get them of all type. I'm getting them for Medicare now. You need to call us and enroll in Medicare and get this fixed and that fixed and call this number. And I'm like, come on.
Oh, I guess scamming is a job too. So they have to pay the bills. What can I say? But no, it's ridiculous.
But I know what you're talking about. The ones that call about your computer. I kept one on the phone for quite a while too, and I didn't tell them I was using Linux.
This is Tony from You Ain't No Tony. First of all, this is Tony. You know, you're having problems with your registry in Windows. I said, really? I have problems with Ubuntu? My God. Click.
No, I actually strung this guy out. He wanted me to go in my Windows file directory, and I said, I can't find it. It isn't in here anywhere. And the System32 directory, that ain't in here either. And I just kept this guy going for about maybe 20 minutes.
Some YouTubers will post an actual, phone call going through the I don't watch them anymore, but
this is the Linux Mint Gloria background wallpaper that you can install from the repo of Linux Mint, the retro wallpaper. I wanted to show that off, that this is the retro wallpaper. I wanted to revisit the Gloria days, and I like Linux Mint Debian Edition, but the problem is since it's 64-bit, I wouldn't know how you get Steam running in this one, unlike you would do with the regular version of Linux Mint.
Well, if you want Steam, eat more fiber bars. Oh wait, that's a different kind of Steam. Sorry.
Nice.
I'm using the Linux Mint Debian Edition, and I got Steam to install in it.
Did you have to add a repository, or what did you do?
Right from the command line, sudo app install Steam.
This is the Debian Edition.
I'm using the Debian Edition.
Hold on.
Oh boy!
I'm using the one that if a bunker goes down the toilet and they can't do nothing anymore.
Like I'm at a Zoom
I'm
meeting.
using their backup plan.
I feel like I'm at a Zoom meeting going wrong. There was a viral video. A teacher, elementary school teacher, she did a prank on her 6 students. She says, "Okay, now, grab your notebook," and then she had this fart sound come on. And what was that? The teacher farted. Oh no, it wasn't me, and it was.
It is there. It's in the repositories.
Yes.
So it's there. You're right, Dan. But the problem is, PC Linux OS does not have it still, which I don't know why they chose to not do. 32-bit, they always are 64-bit, but when computers can run both OSs, 32 and 64-bit now, single computers can do this. But
you're not using an NVIDIA graphics card, are you?
It's Intel HD Graphics 4600.
Okay, then you won't go down the road I went down to, because in order to do all this and make Steam work and go play games on it, you got to get the 455.45 NVIDIA drivers with the 5.9 kernel installed, and to install that, it is a nightmare. You have to actually shut down Light DM, turn off your Xorg. You get a DOS package like from NVIDIA, and it comes with no 32-bit video drivers in it, so Steam won't activate after it installs because it's missing 32-bit connection to your graphics card.
I didn't have any of that problem with my Manjaro. I just click install and it went.
All the computers I've dealt with were 32-bit Intel, no NVIDIA in it. And the desktop I had was a Dell XPS 430 that a family member had.
And they do say on Proton D, all the people that are using Manjaro are playing Cyberpunk. Or Arch, for that matter.
Yeah.
Everything else is a pain in the butt.
I've dealt with NVIDIA only on a Dell XPS Studio that a family member let me have for free that was used. It was a red and black and white desktop. It was big, a heavy machine with an NVIDIA graphics card in it. I forget what model, but it had an Intel Core i3 or Core i3, but it was not VMware compatible. But it had 2 hard drives, an 80 gig and a 700 gig hard drive, 2 DVD drives. One was a DVD-ROM and a DVD writer, a media card reader, followed by the NVIDIA card with its own fan in it. It had Windows 7, but due to Windows 7 coming toward end of life last year, I got it connected to the internet. I was able to get Windows 10 to install to it, but it also was telling me, hey, this is urgent. Windows 7 is fixing to be January 14th, 2020, end of life, and it was warning me about that. So I was like, I need to go to Windows 10 now or put Linux. But little did I know that Linux wouldn't have worked because the NVIDIA graphics card is there in it as the default card it came with when my family member got it new at the time. And the fact that I would have been like, what do I do? It's a card that's like a 3D card, but it had a built-in fan, but it was like Linux supports NVIDIA, but you have to do extra work to get it to work. So... But I ended up breaking the computer with a BIOS update from Dell. They never had a BIOS update in years. So when I did that, the update rendered the whole main board unbootable. When I push power, the orange light goes amber, but the fans spin up, but nothing else spins up, only just the fan.
Video drivers still, unless we get quote-unquote a standard, are going to be hit and miss. Quick question here in the chat. People in the chat, are you using either Ubuntu or Arch-based Linux, those of you who use Linux? I bet it's going to be one of the two, if I had to guess here in the chat session.
I dealt with Arch.
Yeah. Archie.
There you
but
go.
I've accidentally imploded my own Gen 2 desktop at one point. Oops.
Debian bare bones.
There you go. I know.
I prefer Debian because it's easy to install. Unlike Gen 2, you have to do extra merge, sync, emerge, this, emerge, that. Arch is easy, but Gen 2, it's all about emerge this and that, and not a lot of stuff is available in Gen 2.
Arch is okay, but sometimes an update will absolutely break the system, and that's it. I'm not speaking from experience. Sorry, Tosh.
No problem. I don't have an external video card because I don't know if the drivers are going to work or not. But I believe on some of the websites, I think Ubuntu used to have a compatibility list of cards that'll work, or is that just for computers? I can't remember.
I think it's more so for the manufacturers who provide
Ubuntu.
Dell used to use Ubuntu on their Dell Inspiron minis. They used to use Ubuntu Netbook Remix on their minis.
Lately, I haven't really had any trouble with any of the video cards as long as they're like last generation or older, not the newest thing.
So Juzu has Ubuntu and Gentoo. How did you go from Ubuntu and Gentoo, Juzu? That's a wild.
Wow.
Well, that's awesome. Debian... How did you? Just out of curiosity, that's two spectrum there is wide apart. One's really user friendly, one is not, or not.
Gentoo's the not so user friendly. Compile it, build it yourself through code.
It's almost like the LFS Linux, left from sanity, as I call
Linux
it.
from scratch is the one that's worse. But when I dealt with Ubuntu on my old Dell Inspiron 1525, Wi-Fi would not work right out of the box. I had to download a driver from the repositories to get it to work right out of the box.
I'm seeing a lot off of Ubuntu based. The heads of the 5 Ubuntu families.
But later, Ubuntu releases begin to have Wi-Fi working right out of the box for the Dell Inspiron 1525 model.
Yeah. So it's either Arch or mainly Ubuntu. Yeah, there's a reason why there's a lot of Ubuntu based, because Canonical really, I think, was the first company. I think back in they came into existence in 2004.
2004.
And I started with those. I think they were the first to come to make Linux system try an attempt then to go mainstream, as it were. And look, 16 years later, they still exist.
They did with Dell. I mean, they partnered with Dell to provide Ubuntu on their Inspiron Mini netbooks.
Right. So, and I think they are profitable.
Asus also partnered with Linux to make Linux for the Asus EEPC too at one point.
So Jusu says Ubuntu on a work research. Gentoo as your OS of choice? Wow.
But Gentoo, you have to emerge everything. You got to have good hardware for it to do emerge.
Oh, Gentoo is a
package
hobby,
name.
he says. Okay, all right, that's cool. Well, Chromebooks are based off of Gentoo, so why not? Yeah.
I mean, Ben Fitzpatrick, I still owe him a thanks for helping me with Gentoo, and I'm able to get it done on my own. But I would rather do a Gentoo quick install, put the base system down, and that's it. Nothing else on top due to the availability.
The thing is, with Gentoo, it takes 2 days to install it, doesn't it?
No, it does not, depending on your hardware. With me, it took
Either
2
that
days
or you run
straight,
out of
but-
Motrin.
But it takes longer if you got slower computers. It just took 2 days for me at one
Hi, Tim.
point, but
I thought I'd get that one in.
yeah,
No, it's,
calculate.
yeah, I don't do anything from scratch, let alone an operating system. But yeah, it's I suppose if you have the time and you're more mentally astute, you could try something like Gentoo or whatever, or Linux from
But
scratch. But
Calculate Linux is based off of
be right back.
Gentoo, so is
All right, Tim.
Sabian. Those are Gentoo based, so those are user friendly than Gentoo itself.
weren't the first Android cell phones Gentoo based? Or maybe
No,
I'm
they
wrong.
were Linux based.
Well, Gentoo, but I don't.
I
maybe
think
I'm-
Sabian is like out the back door.
I think it
don't
went
know.
out the back door as well because I never heard anything more on DistroWatch about it.
Yeah, I haven't either, and I could have sworn I had intercepted some conversation about it being gone.
TrueOS is gone by the way of the dinosaur anyway. I emailed DistroWatch and told them that TrueOS is no longer around due to its shutdown. and
Somebody
I
in the
was like,
chat said who was it? Like DistroWatch is a waste of time. Well, I don't know if it's a waste of time, but it's a guide, you know.
It's a
DistroWatch,
shortcut.
I
I
love
linked
it because
mine.
it's a Linux phone book
It's
to
a
me.
you
It's
know
like
it's a
Linux
portal. It's if you get information,
phone book.
right? I would say
You've got to take it for what it is, really.
right. So when they have something listed number one, that's just the hits on the web page, right? It's not
Yeah, you
necessarily,
know.
but it's a guide. It's a guide.
You wake up one day and you go, I want to beat my brains out. Let's go to DistroWatch and pick one to do that with.
I mean, I know if Ubuntu Mate ever made it to the top, it would be thanks to me if it made it to the top. You know, but
Whose
and
bots are
another
the best bots?
for the Debian users, Debian Buster's got an update of TZ data package. The new version is 2020 E0 Deb 10U1.
okay.
It fixes an issue with a timestamp involving a country called Volgograd or Volgograd. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it involves that to where they switch to Moscow time.
Can you guys hear me?
Russian.
oh, Juzu says the DistroWatch site is good. It's just the ranking system is just BS.
Hold on.
Yep.
Again, I think
This
it's
is
just
it.
page hits. It isn't actual usage, I think. I do believe, because Ubuntu has been around so long, that it's probably the most common or the most popular Linux system in the
No,
world
I'm not,
as far
Joe.
as Ubuntu.
Yeah, that's a package
think,
update
you
that was
know,
shipped to the Debian stable repository for Linux Mint and Debian based.
Robert says if ranked by quality, Arco Linux would be number one. That's fine. Use what works. Yeah. You know.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Hey, Tim.
We can
Yeah.
hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's funny
Okay.
that.
Jump
Arco,
down.
Arco really isn't half bad. They've made it really easy to install.
Well, it's funny because they named the Linux distro off an oil company, Arco, but that's okay, you know.
no, you're
Hey, it's
thinking,
been my daily driver for the best part of 2 years
Hi,
now.
Tim.
That's
How you
Amico.
doing, William?
yeah,
Fine.
Amico.
Amico,
To me, this year, Tim, I've been enjoying Linux a little bit more, but with Debian, I learned I should never touch Unstable. I get that. But, however, the only distro I tried was Solid X and Solid K, those. The Debian Enthusiast Edition of Solid K or Solid X, I could get them booting in a virtual machine and installed, but I cannot get them installed on my own computer. I tried, and it wouldn't go past the boot screen after installation. It would just lock up midway during the boot, which was weird.
I don't know, but yeah, once Ubuntu dropped the Unity desktop on in 2016, well, the GNOME desktop, although it looks slick, I don't like the workflow to do this. That's why it's not my favorite. It's stable. I went to Ubuntu Mate and I haven't looked back. But if Ubuntu still had Unity, I would probably still be on that. But once they dropped it officially, I mean, it's still out there. I went to
didn't
Mate.
like Unity.
Yeah. It worked.
Yeah, there's a big tug of war on that one.
I think that they've gone to that desktop, but I think it's a mistake. I think they should have stuck with the desktop they had.
I think the GNOME's going to have some quote-unquote major changes in the next version of GNOME I read, so I don't know what the UI changes will be, but the workflow isn't quite as user-friendly as Mate, in my opinion. You know, you have to install extensions. Sometimes they break, they don't work, and I don't need that to do this. On a Play machine, on my 50-inch TV is fine, you know.
I was concerned about Cinnamon being dropped from Debian, as I did read on the DistroWatch webpage in the news section about Debian maintaining Cinnamon or dropping Cinnamon altogether. But I was like,
wow, okay.
If they drop Cinnamon, then it's going to be XFCE, Plasma, and LXQT, and GNOME.
That'll work. Tim, have you have any issues with Ubuntu at all?
Not for what I do. I love it.
Okay, cool.
The 2004 that I use, that Joe put on the.
That's
on
the
machine.
LTS.
Still,
I believe that's
yeah,
still
still-
5 years support, right? If I'm not
yeah,
mistaken.
still running that.
Good.
It's no problems. I mean, like for what you do and stuff. I mean, I don't.
Yeah. No, I understand. I mean, I can do it in Ubuntu, but I don't.
I'm
like,
just
I
a
don't like
basic
the workflow.
computer user, so I would rather use Windows for my games, but Linux in a virtual machine just to try out stuff that's rolling release in case if something breaks, it's not going to take out my whole computer. Instead, it'll just take the virtual machine out, but it won't take out the entire computer.
Chris says we have so many good choices. How are we to choose? And by the way, if I missed anybody in the chat, I apologize. Chris, that's a good question. For what I do, for the live streams, reviews, and content creation, as we call it, it wouldn't make sense for me to use Gentoo or rolling release or cutting edge, because sooner or later something's going to break. And I remember years ago when I was doing the shows, the News and Nonsense with Spatry and IG, from Australia. Spatry, I think IG, but more Spatry was dying to convince me to try Arch. I'm like, what are you drinking or smoking, man?
Uh-oh.
No,
Last time I talked to him, he was still bragging it up.
Okay, I'm just saying.
On the Manjaro.
He was trying to, come on, Toss, try. I said, no way. One day we went live. He says, Toss, you were right. I have no time to fix things in Arch. I'm done with Arch. I'll never forget that statement. Of course.
Isn't he on Ubuntu? The last couple of videos that I've seen him do.
I have no idea.
I think he was, because Arch I like, but if something breaks, I wouldn't know how to fix it because I'm not too of an expert.
There's nothing wrong with Arch if you're into that.
Spatry has his own Manjaro build.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's fine, but, for me, he, back in 2016, 17, he says, Toss, look, just try a full install of Manjaro and just give me your honest opinion. Give me your 100%. And I'm thinking, boy, he's playing with fire, asking a New Yorker an honest opinion. But I'm like, okay. I did a full install. It was on my Windows XP ThinkPad that I run Debian on. I said,
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, and I did a full install. It was fine. I knew I was in trouble right off the bat when I couldn't play music CDs, a CD. And Spatry says, well, who the heck plays CDs? I said, Spatry, that's not the point. You wanted an honest opinion. Now, I got it to work, but that's not good for a beginner. Anyway, to make
Toss,
I got
still
it
have
working.
I still have tons of DVD and CD blanks.
Okay. And I have some too. I don't use them as much. But anyway, to
but
make
you
a
want to
long
be able to
story
use it
short,
when you want to.
I got it to work. It ran fine. And then after I turned on the AURNet, big flash red alert warning came on. That's when
Toss, there's a great little utility on Manjaro for that. It's Goobox. That plays CDs fine.
I have a great little utility now called Ubuntu Mate. Thank you.
Yeah,
listen, I can't see the chat 'cause I'm using my phone right now, guys. So I'm just gonna be on briefly.
No problem.
That was really good. That because I've got loads of CDs.
Yeah, it's CDs. Now look, if you're a beginner and you're like, oh, well, Toss this, try Manjaro, and then you plop it like it doesn't work. I mean, come on. That's why I said it's not for beginners. It's just cutting edge anything is not for beginners because they don't have the time or the patience to mess with it.
I would
get cut.
You're gonna get cut. See, I got cut.
How is your finger doing? Give us an
I would
idea.
never use Manjaro again though because
5
after
stitches
it
are out.
exploded,
Oh, that looks better.
that was it. That's
mean,
it for me for that.
with me, it got slower. It couldn't do the updates that I was fixing. I mean, I was able to fix everything, but I'm like, gee, what am I on drugs or something? I don't have to go through this in Ubuntu.
Fill up that class.
It's kind of like grabbing a hammer and whacking yourself in the nose and saying, gee,
Oh my
maybe this
God.
hurts too much. Maybe I'll stop doing it. That's how I felt with Banjero. I'm sorry. It just, you know, and maybe it's gone better. And look, if Banjero works or Arch or Arc or whatever, I know Vince has it, great. But for what I do, no thank you. I don't want to go through that again.
Yeah.
I hear you.
The same for me, because it just created a headache, and that was that. I'm done with it.
You know.
And I was on it for a long time.
Well, that's the
but-
beauty
but
of
you
Linux.
can-
You have choices. So
Probably the first thing you can do to make it a lot easier on yourself is manually partition your drive. Make
Well, I don't know if that was the
EFI.
issue, but look,
Make it a 512 megabyte at the beginning of the drive place to put your EFI stuff when it installs. Then have a root directory about 80 gigabytes.
yeah.
And then have a home directory, and that'll be all your data in it. So
Well,
if your thing goes
there-
south, you can reinstall your
right.
system and
But
keep
for
your
the
data
beginner,
at home.
for the newbie, they're not going to do manual partition because they're responsible.
No.
It ain't going to happen.
You learn this stuff though as
I
you go
use
on.
manual
I did.
partitioning
but
for
not
expert
off
myself.
the bat. You know, I learned manual later. Look, there were two kinds of Linux distros: one based off of Motrin and one not. Period.
Speaking of it, I'm going to take a piece of aspirin right now.
See, I was right.
Speaking of which, I prefer to take my Linux cocktail drink of partitioning my hard drive, then making it to where if something goes wrong, I can always get data that's on the partition that went off and bring it to the new partition area. If I was to have it more than one drive or a larger 2 terabyte drive, for example, but I would rather see systemd allow you to move your home folder around your system to anywhere you want safely. It'll still work, but you'd use systemd to move your home folder around your computer. It wouldn't break anything as long as you move it correctly.
When I do manual partitioning, and this is, I don't think this is the best way to do it, but this is how I do it. I make 2 partitions, one for swap and one for the root, the /, and that's it. Because I back up everything on multiple hard drives. And I think you should have an extra drive for your home folder or whatever, but I don't do that. I do 2 partitions, and I'm done, and it works for
I
me.
would rather just
you know.
take the time and move my home folder around
You
using
could do that.
systemd.
Yeah.
And move it to where I can move it to a flash drive and mount it automatically, or move it to somewhere in case something goes wrong.
Well,
the
you
home
can
folder's
you can
intact.
move it. No, I thought, but for a beginner, I think for them, I think the automatic partitioning in Ubuntu base is probably going to be the best way for them,
But
so they
whoa,
won't
hold
make
it,
a
Tosh.
mistake. You know.
But
Well,
one problem,
William, do you have a second drive?
not necessarily, but I've used a laptop hard drive before with a USB dock to it.
Well, if you can put a second hard drive in your computer, you can actually edit fstab so it auto mounts. There is information on how to do that, and it'll always be there when the computer boots up. Because I have all my games on a completely different drive.
Okay.
But another
Yeah.
problem here I found is, hold on, not the home folder, but it was something I was going to say, but I forgot. What I've learned is, oh, that's right, the root partition. Some distros put a small little root partition where the packages are on the root partition when you download them, but not anywhere else. An example is Debian Solid X or Solid K. It puts one little root partition and a big home partition and a swap, but if the root partition gets full, your system won't boot. It'll just lock you out, I've learned.
And what's the root partition? 512 megabytes, or is it a multi-gigabyte partition?
It's like above 8 gigs. Like it may
It should be
10 gigs.
It should be around 80. 80 will be enough for most people, even if you download everything from the package manager.
If it puts it at too low, I learned that the Linux
Yeah.
system won't boot. If the root
Yeah.
partition's too full, it just won't start.
I don't know. I do 2 partitions: the swap and then one root, with / mount, I think it's called, and I'm done. And it
Yeah,
never had a problem.
the root is the /
Right.
but you got to make sure the root is either a partition on its own or all in one, because if your partition's full, your computer it won't be able to boot to your desktop.
Right. No, I use Ubuntu base, obviously, so I just make sure I have those two and make sure it's root, the / and good to go. And of course, now on this I have two separate drives, so as a dual
I can
boot,
also make I modified the swap partition to where I can add another swap, but the UUID of that partition I had to add it to the F's tab in order for it to see that there, and it would auto mount because I added a different UUID to the same existing UUID of that partition. I changed it so it could auto mount the other partition that's swapped, but I have to ensure that the UUID of the first partition created is switched to a different one so it won't throw the F tab off.
Well, I think the auto partitioning only creates 2 partitions anyway in Ubuntu based, if I recall.
It does, but you can add another swap if you want.
You can add as many partitions as you want. Yeah.
I think Ubuntu now uses a swap file instead of a partition.
Okay.
But before that, I used to do the partition. If I wanted to add another swap partition directly, I had to create it, but I had to copy and paste that UUID, the different one that appears for the second one down, into the Ftab file and put it exactly as it appears in the file, save it, and restart the computer. Then it auto shows up as mounted because I prefer the UUID that identifies the partition, but I have to make sure I copy it exactly word for word, because if I don't, I screw something up.
All right, let's take a quick break from the Linux talk here. People who are coming in and watching this slate, somewhere on this webpage I posted a donate button for feedingamerica.org if you can donate. If it doesn't work, I know it doesn't work in certain countries, I don't know why. Go to feedingamerica.org if you can. That's my organization of choice to helping people this holiday season. If that doesn't work, then just choose your local organization. If you have a version of the Salvation Army or Food Pantry, help out there if you can. So I gave to them, and I actually got a reminder for St. Jude's Children's Hospital, so I wanted to help them out this holiday season if you can. So I want to get that out there, once more before I forget. I will let you guys in on a little joke. I was watching my friend Slim Man, the singer, the other night, and he had another joke.
Oh no! Okay, here we go.
Wait, is it family friendly?
It's family friendly. He says.
Okay.
He says I was helping my friend, whatever his name is, chopping wood for the log for the Christmas fire, and he accidentally he accidentally cut his hand off. So I'm rushing him to the Goodwill store. The guy says, "What the hell are you taking me to the Goodwill store?" "Oh, it's a secondhand store."
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, Slim's a character. That guy's a character.
He is. My favorite one of my favorites was, it's these bar jokes. So he says, a guy with a seeing eye dog walks into a store, and he takes the seeing eye dog and starts twirling it over his head. And the bartender says, "What the bleep are you doing?" The guy says, "Oh, I just want to take a look around."
I can't remember you said that.
But he has.
I like the secondhand store. That's a good one.
Yeah,
that was fun. Wow.
Some of his jokes just fall flat, but some of them are like kind of corny, but they're clever.
No, but he's quick.
Go watch it there, to Toss. You might got taken to the second finger store.
Right.
Like the around and round with
play with F-Snap.
I asked Alexa, my little Alexa device, for a joke. She says, that was this morning. She says, "What's the best time to learn how to skydive?" Or "What's the best time of the year to learn how to skydive?" I should have guessed this. What's the best time of the year to learn skydive? Fall.
Oh my God.
Sometimes you don't think the jokes are the dumbest, simplest ones. Anyway,
but they're the funniest at times. Right in the moment,
Right. I mean, tonight I was watching Jim Carrey, Ace Ventura, Pet Detective.
Oh,
What
Pet
a
Detective.
stupid movie, but I'm still laughing 20 years later. You know, with this contortions on his face, just I gotta laugh. You know. Anyway,
You remember the movie with John Wayne and Robert Mitchum and James Caan, El Dorado?
I've heard of it, but I don't think I've
Remember
seen
that
it.
movie?
El Dorado.
they're-
I've heard of it.
El Dorado. It's an old movie. I think it was done in '67.
Okay.
There's a part in there where John Wayne finds Robert Mitchum, and he's going back to El Dorado to help him out. And Robert Mitchum, he's falling down drunk now. And there's just a scene in there where they kind of get into a little fisticuff in the jailhouse, and where John Wayne whacks upside the head with his pan, and it's just the look on Robert Mitchum's face is hilarious. And my daughter to this day still cracks up on that moment. So every time El Dorado comes on like on AMC or whatever, I'm watching that movie. It's hilarious. It's just a hilarious moment.
Well, Jim Carrey, if you remember him, there was a TV show called In Living Color. He has those contortions with his face. It's so ridiculous.
My mom knows
You have
about
to
Living
laugh.
Color. In Living Color.
Yeah. I think it was back in the 90s. That's where
She was
Jennifer
born in the
Lopez got her
60s.
break. I think J-Lo got her break on that show too, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay.
But Jim Carrey, I'm watching that movie tonight. I'm like, it's so stupid. It's something that you just have to laugh even years later. With his face, alrighty then, and stuff like that. But it's just funny.
Did he do
and
that
then-
thing, that fireman deal on Saturday Night Live years ago when he was on SNL?
He probably did. I don't remember right now, but yeah.
Toss, what do you think about MeWe as of currently in
I
2020?
use it. I think it's a great alternative for Facebook. None of my Facebook friends are on there, but I think it's a great alternative. Yeah.
I
I'm on
used
that.
it.
Is that why it's a great alternative?
I couldn't really figure out. I used it, but I was like, I can't see no more posts or anything after a certain point. I mean,
No.
I liked it, but
I
I
don't
was
use
like,
it every day, but
I don't really.
Tops, what's happening with
It's
me?
not a good-
It looks like you've got to pay for it or something.
No. There's a free version. There's always a pop-up. Hey, thank you. Would you like to move on to the premium paid version? I just hit escape or skip. The
I got a
trial,
free
skip it.
trial for the MeWe Premium. I actually
Did
got
you?
like a 70.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I kept on getting that pop
I just
up, and
bypass-
I just thought, what
I
the
buy-
heck's going on?
I just bypassed that, Doc. Yeah, I don't worry about that.
Speaking of Doc, I want to sit there and introduce myself. Nice to meet you there, the doctor.
Oh yeah.
Nice to meet you, brother.
Yeah, maybe
I could
works
tell-
fine. So yeah.
I could tell Doc is from the UK because of his accent.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. Well, you know what the UK stands for. Do you guys know what it stands for? It stands
United
for Ubuntu
Kingdom.
Ubuntu Kingdom. Hello.
Ubuntu Kingdom. There you go.
We're free now from Europe, so
There you go.
There you go.
Let's see, where are we here? We're at almost a 2-hour mark. I would like to share with you guys, and we'll still do some more tech talk before we wrap it up for tonight. I would like to share with you guys a new song that my dad sent me. I haven't seen him already. He's still stuck in Italy. He's
Song with
retired.
no name.
The song with no name. I'm going to share with you a song. He says to me, yeah, it's like 2 weeks ago. He says he was sleeping and he thought of this song, but because it's so new, he doesn't have a title for it, so he calls it the song with no name. One of my friends on Facebook named it, and I'll tell you at the end, but I want you to listen to it. Like now, he doesn't use Linux. I just want to let you know. He just writes it. He goes to the studio, and my dad is not a computer guy whatsoever. But I will play the song. It's an instrumental. He calls it the song with no. It's like a Western thing, the man with no name. But I'm going to play it.
I've been through the desert with a song with no name.
I will play the song, and maybe you guys can think of a title. Okay, maybe I'll pick it. But my friend on Facebook picked it. I won't tell you what she thought was a good title. But let me play it, and let me know what you guys think. Okay? All right. Then we'll come back to the tech talk.
Okay.
Let me bring it up here. All right.
Is it playing? I can't hear it.
can't hear it.
Well, before
I'm hearing it. You guys can't hear it. Shoot.
No, it's a bunch of dead air.
Really? Oh, I'm sorry.
On the stream.
Hang on a second. It's a song with no sound either.
Hey, we are the A-Team, brother.
I'm hearing it through my.
Yeah, look what happened to them.
Really?
Yeah.
I got it through my earpiece. That's weird. It ain't playing through because it goes through OBS audio. And hang on.
Hannibal, you got to make the plan come together.
I guess
What
so.
are you talking about, fool?
Let me.
Guys are killing me here.
It's going through OBS. Hang on a second. Let me. You don't hear that, okay? It's got to be how Google Meet is set up on the web. Let me try something else here. Hang on a second. Sorry.
I turned it on. I turned it on the stream. I was listening to it through there.
So it plays through the stream?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So can you guys hear it through the stream if you want to do that, and I'll restart it.
Yeah, we can mute ourselves in here and then
Yeah.
listen to the stream.
Okay, so it's playing through the stream. Okay, let's do that. Is that okay with you guys?
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to restart it. Okay, sorry about that. Okay. right, I'll stop it there. But let me know what you guys think about that. There's actually like a vocal version of that too, where he sings, but he's not really a singer, you know. But
I like it. It reminds. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I'm a
I
sucker
love
for
it.
real horns.
no, go ahead. Tell me
reminded
what you
me-
guys think. Yeah.
Yeah, it reminded me. This, and let me get my thought out before you start judging what I'm going to say.
Oh.
At first, it had a little bit of the. You remember the movies Kill Bill?
Mhm.
Some
Yeah,
Arnold
I know the
there,
films,
and
yeah.
Wayra,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
who actually played here. I saw him in person. Who does
Yeah.
some really nice, with this. I can't remember. It's a Native American type flute. But then I started thinking of some old type westerns. But what came to mind for
Yeah.
this with the name for me
Yeah.
is something kind of for the times we're living. At first, I was going to say, today was never here, but I thought, no, today is not tomorrow. I thought would be a nice name for it because when he hits those peaks, it's today is not tomorrow, and then you go on with the rest of the lyrics, and I was thinking
Okay.
of words for it, so I could kind of see
Okay.
that kind of a feel with it. It's just really kind of it's very good, very good.
I have to listen to it later because I couldn't hear it I'm on my phone today instead of
Okay.
the computer.
I'll post the link. Let me do that, and then you guys can listen to it on Bandcamp. And if you want to buy
Sure.
it, it's like $1 a doll. Hang on, give me 1 second. I'll
Oh,
post it
that's
in the link.
yeah, sounds like
He
a fun-
sends these to me. He says, "Here's son, these are for you. Do what you can do with the song." So I'll post it in the
Nope.
Bandcamp.
That's not bad, Joe. What'd you say? Today's not
I wouldn't
tomorrow?
mind paying your
not
dad
tomorrow.
some money to get the song to listen to it over and over.
Okay, well, I'll post it now. You can download it for $1. It's going in the link now, and there you go. All right. So, any other comments, thoughts about a title? What you thought about the song? There's the link there and the thing. It's salvatorepate.bandcamp.com. P-A-T-E, the last name.
First of all, I have a deep appreciation for people nowadays that still use real instruments
Thank you.
instead of computer simulated
I
ones.
totally get it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Totally agree, Dan. Totally agree.
Yeah. Doc, what do you think?
Yeah, I thought you were wearing a Stetson actually.
No, that was I thought of Clint Eastwood, like the man with no
Yeah.
name. It's funny because he sent me 2 versions, one where he sings and one without. I have to translate the words, but from what he was telling me, the
All right.
lyrics are nothing compared to a Western, not even close. It's just the sound
Right.
kind of like a Clint Eastwood spaghetti Western, right? Yeah.
When I
and-
the first few minutes of it, I thought I was like at the bullfights.
Yes, right. Yeah.
Oh,
You know?
wow.
Yeah.
Oh, and Toss, tell your dad
Yeah.
I says
And España.
that someone says ciao and the song is cool, and
I will
I
tell him.
wouldn't mind having the translated version or the instrumental version because
Well, this was the instrumental without the
yeah.
vocals, but I
Well,
will.
the
I'm actually
instrumental
going to call.
version-
I will call him
yeah.
tomorrow. The one on the Bandcamp, that's the instrumental version. It's not the vocal version. But I wanted to translate the lyrics before we talk about that. But I will call him tomorrow and I will tell him.
Are you gonna sing it in English?
He sings in Italian. That's why I want to translate it first, so you guys know what it's about.
That's why I said, "Are you going to sing it in English?"
I ain't singing squat.
He's not going to sing it. You know that. I knew you were going to do that.
I'm just gonna read the lyrics. I mean, the vocal version, it's the same tune. It's just with him singing. So, but I will translate it so I know what the heck he's talking about. But when I first got it, I'm like, I was thinking about Clint Eastwood, High Plains Drifter for spaghetti western.
Right.
But I will tell him. But it's on the Bandcamp page. But I will tell him tomorrow. But so what's a good title for the song? You guys were saying?
Josie Wales.
No, that ain't it. Josie was the movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of my
Did you
friends.
see my suggestion?
Well, what is it?
Arch hurts.
Arch
Only for a
hurts
little
only for a
while.
little while.
Wait,
right?
wait. What'd you say, Vincent?
Arch hurts. Only for a little while.
My friend on Facebook wrote the title for the song. A good one would be "Only the Brave Survive." I like that.
Yeah, that's good too.
Then I have to translate the lyrics so I know what. But he
I
was
gotta
telling his songs just come to him, like all artists. Like, Stephanie, or they just come. There's no rhyme or reason. He says he thought about it in his sleep. That's why he has no title for it.
The thing is, Toss, we got to support our artists too because they're suffering at the moment.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. We've been
I
talking
like Joe's
about.
title. I like Joe's title. Today is not tomorrow. Is that what you said, Joe?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good one.
they're both good.
I don't know which title comes close to the lyrics, but I will let you guys know. Once I have to download it. He sent me a PDF. He didn't, his friend. My dad's not a computer guy. Back in 2017, I'll tell you guys a story. I think I mentioned it. When he was finishing up his movie project that he shot there, it has subtitles. He says, listen, why don't you fly out to Rome? It was at the end of 2017, so you can help me with the subtitles.
Mm-hmm.
I said, Dad, have you heard of email? Why don't you just send me the script instead of spending whatever thousands of dollars to be stuck in the studio, which is not fun. People see the glamorous part of it, but it's hard work. I don't want to do that. Send me the script. I'll call you, and then you're telling me, subtitles, because I already saw the first cut of the film with the subtitles that needed corrections. So we'll read it together page by page by page, and then I will tell you how to translate, and that's how we fixed it. And we didn't have to spend $3,000.
Joe, I got a question.
So
Joe?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Is it on Steam? Is there a game you wanted gifted to you or a wish list?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't know. I've got all kinds of games I'm watching.
I see one you wanted to call a dirt rally game, like a racing game.
I think I have that already.
Okay, hold on. I'm looking. I think about gifting people Steam games since they're on sale. But my only question is if you have an NVIDIA GTX or someone can handle the game, which is why I want. Okay,
Joe's got the hardware.
That. I wanted to try to give people games if they want them. Just wanted to do like a generous.
I didn't know everybody else could see that. I
can. Yeah, I can see the games you wish you would want, and I was willing to be like a Santa Claus and digitally gift them to people.
Yeah, Steam does that. It shows people's wish lists.
Oh, I didn't know that. I got a whole mile-long list. But the thing is, a lot of it's Windows games, and I'm waiting to see if they kind of play better with Proton and stuff like that. But,
that's why I'm going to hold off on that until you are wanting it. If you do, then you could let me know. But if I'm on the Steam sale now before it ends January 5th, so I'm taking this opportunity to find games that I want or somebody else might want that I could do that.
You're talking a foreign language as far as I'm concerned. I'm not a gamer.
William, before you give out Steam keys,
hey,
check the games out on Proton and make sure that they work on Linux.
Okay, hold on.
I'm with you there, Doc, because I'm not a gamer either.
That's okay.
No, it's just like talking foreign language to me. I'm sorry, that's not my interest. But I'm interested in recording music and stuff like that. I'm really interested in that side of it.
Cool.
That's cool. Okay.
DLCs that my grandson's been bugging me for the farming simulator because him and I do that a lot. But it's like that thing's a whole nother world. I told him, I said, we got to learn the first part first before we could do anything else.
My friend's got a simulator. He's got an aircraft simulator that he's built himself. And I said to him, why doesn't he try using Linux on it? And he said, it won't run the software.
Yeah.
And that's a great shame because that would really enhance that thing for him rather than using this 10 thing.
I'm with you on that, Doc. I can't stand a 10 thing either.
If you like gaming, Windows they still, in spite of their update issues, as far as Windows 10 and gaming, it's still wonderful. It still works. So it just does.
That is the bugbear.
Together. So one thing I'm surprised about is, like I said, I didn't know, first of all, that wish list could be seen by others, but the other thing too is I have Dirt Rally in my list, so you would think it would take it off the wish list. So that so I'll have to do more investigating. I'm surprised about that.
Yeah, I'm looking at his wish list, and I can see there's games that he may want that I'd be able to get for him.
Now, if I have a game and I open it up and there's somebody that's associated with Steam with me as a friend, it will show me if they have that game or not, or if it's in their wish list. But I have to be friended with them.
That's how that works.
Okay.
So I will check to see if it runs well on Linux. If it does, then I'll most likely give it to Joe, If not,
that?
then I won't do that. The Dirt game.
I
As a
have that.
thank you
already.
gift.
And
Oh,
it does run well on Linux. No, it's fine. I appreciate.
is there
that,
any
but
other game you don't have that I could possibly try?
Well, we could talk about that after the stream. I don't want to
Okay.
take up Carm's
Sorry.
stream right now. No,
Yeah,
that's
it's,
okay. I appreciate that.
We're going to wrap this up here in about 10 minutes. We've been on 2 hours and 10 minutes already. Imagine that. This is so much fun. So
Lots of good conversation. That's
yeah,
why.
no, it is. It's yeah. So
I have to do this again, Toss.
we'll do it again probably next month. I think this will probably be the last live for this year. We just got a week left for this year, so I don't
Just send me an email so that I know
Yeah.
when you're going to do it and a link, and I'll
wonderful.
jump in.
This was fun.
I
was
love
fun.
this.
Obviously, because of the time difference, tell me the time.
You
as
are what, 5 hours ahead?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's 4:17 here.
Wow. Maybe
Holy
maybe
moly.
I know. Maybe I'll start it earlier for you, Doc. It's thank you.
Well,
Yeah, we just pick a 9 p.m. because that's when I started doing these live streams on a regular basis now 3 years ago, 9 p.m. Fridays. But we can start earlier. For me here in Ohio, the state of Ohio, it doesn't matter when I start. But for you guys and for others, I understand it's late, but we can start this sooner.
Well, it's almost morning now.
Yeah, so it's time for breakfast. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
well, it is. You said it's 4 something in the morning, your time,
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
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 It's
Listen,
11:18 where I'm at.
Yeah.
where are you from there, William?
I'm in Georgia, East Coast.
Okay, Eastern time. Listen, I don't. What are you guys doing for New Year's Eve?
Honestly,
I'm probably
going to
be
pandemic,
gaming,
ain't
I
going
guess.
nowhere. Yeah.
That would be good.
Well, we did it. We did it a long time ago. I want to say 3 years ago, Carmine. We had a stream for New Year's Eve. You, Steve.
I don't know.
I want to.
That may have been the one where I did a fundraiser for the channel. That was on for 6 hours. Was that the one?
6 hours. Yeah, I remember that.
that
I
the
think
one?
so. I think
Okay.
so. We did. It was like New Year's Eve or something.
Maybe it was.
Listen, I'll be more than happy to sponsor if you want to do a New Year's
Okay.
Eve deal.
I'll let you
Yeah.
guys know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind joining in on this
Okay.
one as a guest as well.
All right,
Sure,
I'll let you
of course.
guys know.
Hey, William, I've got a suggestion for you, and Carm's going to like this one. As much as I am very, very flattered at the gesture, I see we hit the $100 on the
We did.
donation.
Great.
You
Great.
want to take whatever you were going to do and put it toward a donation for the food charity at this point. I would really appreciate it. I'd rather see somebody get some food before me getting another game. I'm grateful.
Yeah.
I'm very appreciative of the offer. If
Yeah.
you don't mind, that's up to you.
That's fine.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was like, I would rather give people
Yeah,
digital
yeah.
gifts since it's
Yeah.
a lot safer than person.
Yeah, if
Okay.
those, I don't know what it's like in Europe, Doc, but here in the States, it's one big bleeping mess, and
Oh, it's bad here, especially up
it
north.
is. It is
Bless-
okay.
Bless them, they can't even afford to pay for electricity or gas. Bless them. That's how bad it
Yeah,
is.
here I had
Oh,
to
my
stop.
God.
I had to stop watching the news. I mean, I
I
watch the
can't
weather
watch it.
reports, and what's going on, but it breaks my
It's
heart.
getting out of hand because I'm
So-
stuck in my own room like as if I'm in prison because I can't go to the library in my town. The bus
That- that
service
is-
cuts off.
That is the problem.
It's businesses. There's a lot of, like, here we have quite a few mom and pop businesses, and I don't know. Look, if a company like MGM Studios is in trouble,
Yeah.
and they're worth they're on sale, as I joke, for $5 billion because they're losing money. And if you're not doing ticket sales, selling movies, you're going to lose money. It's
That's
bad.
right.
Well, that's why
You know.
Tom Cruise exploded the way he did too, because he said people are losing their homes, and
Even
You're right.
I mean,
even a
here they're
restaurant-
trying to get packages out now to help people, and they can't come together. They're fighting about this stuff. They've been fighting about it for months. I don't
and better
understand.
yet, the restaurant in my town called Steak and Shake shut down recently. They went under.
The local theater here is done. AMC movie theaters. They shut down here. They're in bank. They need another, I don't know, 800 million to get through next year.
Yeah, Imagine
It's-
Theaters in my town is the
it's,
same way.
It's. Look, I miss going out on the weekends to my local coffee place, Tim Hortons, which is based out in Canada.
I used to
Saturday
go to Tim
mornings,
Hortons when I used to go to Canada.
I'd go there, have coffee, friends, and at that time, my friend and I, who was running for office, we would hook up and strategize and talk, and this and that. We would talk about an hour, have a coffee or donut, and leave. We were doing that every single Saturday. Then they shut down. But now, because I am scared, I don't go to the restaurants. I order takeout. I avoid the malls.
I can't go to my own library. I can't. And I used to go to the library. I used to ride the bus to my own library and just chill there. But I can't now since they're still limited to the public. And the bus service in my town shuts off at 7 o'clock in the evening. If you do, they do. And the problem is if you ride the bus early in the day and can't get back in time, you're stranded. If the bus service cuts off, you're stuck.
Everything is being affected at one way. The only business that's literally booming is the medical business. I hate to see it that way booming, but that's the reality of it. But the entertainment business, anything with entertainment, that includes movies, movie companies, restaurants, hotels, drivers, trucks are bringing the food for the ad. I mean, everything's being affected, and who knows how many billions of dollars are going to be lost. But when MGM says they're for sale and they own all the Bond flicks, the James Bond movie that was supposed to be released, No Time to Die, MGM is losing $1 million a month on that film because they got to pay interest on the loan. $1 million a month.
That's right.
And that's just one film. Now, I think the film cost $200 million to make. I'm sure it's a great film, but the theaters are shut down, so
So they're going into they're going into that red line. They're sinking under.
Well, they didn't predict it because that film was shot. It was probably in the making 2 years before. See how these films work. They hire the writer. They pay him whatever, $1 million. You write the story. Say in 2015 they write the story. In 2016 they go through the process. 2017. You know how this works. It can take years to get the project filming, and maybe they started filming, in last year to be released this year or something like that. But you don't plan for a pandemic. Nobody does.
This will tell you how bad it is in Salisbury, Toss. Salisbury's in Wiltshire, where I live. There was 2 local burger chains, right, in Salisbury.
Sure.
One was the one beginning with W, and the other one was King, shall we say?
Yeah.
And one's gone, totally gone, shut up, gone.
They're still here, but it's strictly drive-through, and the drive-throughs are still busy. So hopefully that'll be enough.
Chick-fil-A
it's just finished it. It's just
okay.
And you ought to see it. The amount of shops that are empty, it's unreal.
Well, Chick-fil-A in my town.
This is a disgusting time in our lifetime, and I just hope to God that we can.
We will get
somehow
through this.
We'll get through this somehow.
Eventually, we will, and it isn't just in the States. I understand.
No, it's all over.
I work in education. I won't say where I work. I work in education.
Yeah.
And education has been an absolute nightmare. Absolute nightmare because we've had to do online stuff and then we've had to do practical stuff, and doing the practical has been absolute nightmare.
I don't want to give away the name of the town where I don't want to give away the town where I live, but the town where I'm at is over 7,000 cases, and I already heard about a second strain of COVID. But
I heard.
Apparently, my town is at 7,000 cases and growing due to it having a college town. University of Georgia, where I'm at, well, they've got 4,000 cases, but now it's 7,000 per citizen here. And that out on top of that goes to 10,000 or higher, with 7,000 plus 4,000 something added on top.
Well, we were in Ohio. We were the #1 county. Now we're at number 3. We were number 1. We dropped, quote unquote, drop. It's still bad, but it's. I'm avoiding clusters of people. Like when I go grocery shopping, in and out. I want to get in and out.
Right.
Restaurants, I ain't walking in. Walmart, if I have to go in, I'll walk into Walmart and I leave.
I got entire strip malls in my area that are empty, and you look in the windows, and everything inside is gone. They're just empty buildings with no business whatsoever.
Whoa!
What I think is ironic, though, Tosh, is we're all wearing masks, right? And last year, if we'd gone around wearing a mask, we would have been arrested, wouldn't we? It just feels strange.
Yeah, do the math exactly.
Wearing a mask where it does impair your breathing somewhat. Let's face it, we don't like it. But
You have to
It
take
does-
the precautions.
You
Yeah.
have to. It's like wearing a seatbelt. If you don't wear the seatbelt, you take your chance.
You're going to be hurt, and better yet,
Nothing
the
is
nurses-
100%, but given a choice with or without the seatbelt, I'm going to wear the seatbelt. And the
Right.
mask.
Well, yeah. It's
You know.
common sense.
I would wear a mask and a seatbelt. In the town, okay, there's a nursing home right up the street from my house. They're on isolated lockdown. No one's allowed in. Only medical and employees are tested and check their temperature, but no regular visitors are allowed in.
Yeah.
That's
I know.
I have a
My
relative-
my mother's in one,
Okay.
and because of the accident that her and my daughter were in.
I have a cousin who's a nurse in Pittsburgh, the city of Pittsburgh, and she warned, because back in February, March, I don't know what was real, what was not. She warned me in March. She said, no. Cases are jumping. She's not a COVID emergency room nurse, as it were. She went from the heart floor. She got transferred to the COVID floor. And she warned me in March, this is real. It's not fake. You better wear the mask. And I learned from her back then what was going on. But
We used to have in the UK for the NHS, on a Thursday night, we used to have a round of applause for them. We've stopped it now, but when we had the first sort of wave, we had that round of applause every night, and that used to keep people together. It used to be quite amazing walking out in the street and seeing all your neighbours banging stuff and clapping. That used to help a lot.
I mean, to be honest with you, Toss, my mental health has been kind of going. It kind of dips down lower because the fact that I'm still like the library's still shuttered in my town to where you can only do curbside.
Well, we don't feel normal. It's especially us Italians who are used to hugging and kissing, and we haven't done that in here. It's like it's
You're all tongue tied.
it isn't just me, I'm sure. But
Hey, Carmen,
Italians-
trust me, I totally hear you because I got
it's-
both the mixtures. I'm Spanish and Italian, so my God, you know.
It's
You are Tim.
I-
Never
yes.
knew.
no, it's,
I get the double. I get the double whammies when I
It
get.
feels like there's something wrong with your blood or your breathing, or besides the
Right.
COVID.
Which half's Italian and which half's Spanish?
Well, my father was Spanish, but he passed in '84. But my mom's Italian,
Sorry to hear that,
and
Tim.
holy moly, yeah, I get the double whammy.
I was
But
thinking of
that's
those.
okay. I've eaten well my whole life.
Well, we're
trust me.
eating more since we're stuck in the house more. I put on some
I
poundage.
think this type of thing helps a lot.
What's that?
You know, talking to guys like yourself.
Oh God, yes. This is absolutely awesome. And thank God for Linux. Thank God.
This is a residue of humanity. It's
Mhm.
not
It
the
helps
same as
for me
face
to
to
talk,
face.
too.
No, I'm not trying to be, but it's true. It's a residue of what's.
No, Doc, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. This is the best thing, and again, it has to do with Linux. I mean, I found you guys through it, and especially
I
Carmine.
really did have a low point last Sunday when they announced that we were having a second
Wave.
wave of this
Mhm.
new particular virus.
Hmm.
And I now find out studying other stuff, it's not as bad as what they're saying it is.
But there's a second strain that's already been reported up there.
Yeah,
We'll make
Yeah,
it through it.
that this second
will
strain
survive.
they can sort out with inoculating us.
Well,
so,
back in 1918, they did not have the benefit of supercomputers to speed things up.
Exactly.
Now we do. There's still. You got to take this. I mean, this is serious. I'm going to say the word serious shit. Still,
Sure.
You got to take it.
Sure.
But I don't think it's going to last as long as the one in 1918, the Spanish. And by the way, it didn't start in Spain. It got the name
the Spanish
flu
flu.
because it was first put in the newspapers in Spain. Hence the
Uh-oh.
Spanish. But it didn't start there. I didn't know that.
My ancestors.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Thanks, Tim. No, just kidding.
You're welcome.
Oh man.
Oh.
Anyway.
Oh, how about it? Maron de mia, huh?
Yeah, really. But all right, let's give us a 5-minute warning. Everybody in the chat who's left, we're going to wrap this up in 5 minutes. Want to go to bed? It's almost midnight here. So,
No, you guys are all awesome, and everybody in the chat. I wish I could see you right now. I just didn't turn the computer on today.
no
so,
problem. No.
You guys are incredible people. I look so
Thank
forward
you.
again.
Yeah,
I look so forward to
It's no
talking to
secret
you guys
that
again.
these venues have exploded Zoom and Skype and everything. Because who knew this year this would be the normal? You know.
yeah.
Well,
I feel more connected with the community that I'm currently in right now, talking with Toss, Tim, Joe, Dan, and others, because I still miss that old Osgooey texture community that completely imploded.
well, back at you, William. You too. You're a good
Thanks.
friend. Yes, back at you.
I think one of the things that I was quite sad about was to see what Google used to do, that Google Plus.
Yeah, that.
Google's canned more
I think
projects
that was
that they've had.
They're adapting, changing times as well. They should. You know, it really hasn't really had much of an effect on me. I just move on to the next thing to use.
I just move on too, and Google
Hangouts
is scrapping
is gone,
off something
you know,
else.
So, you know.
Google Hangouts is going to go. The next
It's
is Google's IoT project, or Google Android IoT, or something's going to go next after that. I've learned. So
yeah.
It's constant.
Got to enjoy the Google Meets. So look how we're talking here. The thing that even the Google Duo. That's what I used to chat with my mom. You know where she's at right now because of the therapy that she's got to do.
Yeah, Hangouts.
And you know she's not going to be back home, guys, until probably after the 19th of January.
Did she break something, Tim, or did she? Literally...
She had and actually she got 3 fractures in the lower part of her leg. So imagine your wrist. Okay, so the outside part of your wrist, where your pinky's at, there's a fracture there. So your ankle, okay, on the outside part there, and then on the inside part, like say your thumb, so the inside part of your ankle there. She got 2 fractures on the ankle, and then I always get these confused. The fibula, it's the thinner bone that goes up towards the kneecap. It's a spiral fracture that goes up, and then you could see the fracture in the X-ray really good.
All from getting T-boned.
Story about breaking wrists.
Sorry?
Boss. I got a little story about breaking wrists.
Yeah, I know about the radius and the ulna. Trust me.
My mum broke her wrist, her right hand, years ago, and it was in the years when we used to have checks. Used to have to write checks, and she wrote a check to the milkman. Right?
She broke her wrist. Why was the amount so high? She got whoa.
She wrote the check with her left hand, and I said, "You're going to have to tell the bank because your signature is not the same as it normally is." Oh no, that'd be okay. Anyway, the next week the check was brought back by the postman. Had not been allowed because the signature wasn't right. So she had to go and inform the bank about that. And
back then they were really picky about things like that. Now they'll pass them through with no signature on them.
Yeah.
Oh, you just do it to your phone, take a picture of it and sign it.
I'll leave you guys with a couple jokes. When I cut my finger with the box cutter, which is healed nicely, thank you, by the way. 5 stitches. I went to there were 2 cute nurses there. And of course, you know me and my jokes, and my jokes were, I made them laugh so hard they left me in stitches. And then the other
mom and my daughter were in a bad accident, and they couldn't keep her at the hospital because the therapy ward was filled because of the COVID deal with the COVID patients.
Right.
So she's at a nursing home, which is close to me, actually closer to my brother. She's in.
To be honest, at the beginning of the year, I was almost killed on my bike. It wasn't my
motorcycle?
No, a push bike. And,
boy!
Thankfully, the good old NHS did their stuff and sorted me out.
Yeah.
But the mental wings went on for quite a long time, and I had to have some counselling for that, and I got over it. But I thank them for that. I really do. They were brilliant.
It's when you get hurt, cut, or whatever, I really do believe in the mind power, being in a state of mind to help the healing process. Because when she looked at this, she did her thing. I went back a week later. She says, "Oh, that's beautiful." Like, really? It was only 7 days later. So I do believe in, obviously keep it clean and all that. But state of mind. When they were giving me the shots right in the in the scab and the cut, it was pinching. I was thinking I was back at Sanibel Island in Florida on the beach looking at the blondes or whatever, and it helped. She says, "Okay, you're at the beach. Ouch! You're at the beach. You're at the beach." But
Carmine, come on.
I had a foot injury recently, and I had to go to see a doctor and a wound care to have my foot healed. And I had to imagine that I was actually back at home talking to y'all on Hangouts or Zoom, like just having
when I had the root canal
chat.
I'm thinking of I'm not there. I know it sounds corny, but it does.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like last week we had that joke about the ancient kung fu ritual of the iron crotch. It's all.
Oh yes.
Oh no!
Yeah. Refresh the memory
what
there,
does Slim Man
Carmine.
say? He says iron crotch. Is that like a metal band?
Yeah.
All right, one last joke about my finger. I had two cute nurses. They were so cute, I gave them the finger. Haha. That's the end of the jokes. All right. Anything else before we wrap this up? It's almost midnight here, so yeah.
Listen, always a pleasure, gentlemen.
Yeah.
It's
Always a pleasure. You guys are
See
the best.
again, Tim and Joe and others and Dan.
Yeah, everybody have a
As I
blessed
say,
year.
Tops, let us know when you're going to have another one.
All right.
I'll-
All right.
Come on.
I
I'll
would
let
like
you
to
know.
jump into again.
I may be with my son. I don't know. You know, with this pandemic, it's you know, but you know, I'm not. Normally, I would go to like a local bar like Applebee's or something, have a drink or two, but I just don't feel comfortable going. And plus, they're closing at 10 o'clock anyway. So,
Right.
You know. So
Well, maybe I'll have my daughter blow her nose again for you. Remember that one?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that foghorn? Great, yeah.
It sounded like it, but no, it was her nose. Remember?
I thought it was her throat. She was coughing, and it was her nose. Dang.
Blowing her
woman.
nose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
That's how we find one another, just like us Italians, Spanish, whatever.
Well, back then they
You know,
used
it's
to
like,
yell
we-
because
we
there was
could-
now they just
Yeah.
go,
We
you know.
could be in a crowd of 10,000, and you could just find our family. Just hey,
right, when you hear
blow
the-
their nose, or
when-
we're so
when-
loud, right?
When you hear the schnozzola, that's your family, right? So,
Yeah.
all right, guys. Thank you, everybody in the chat. If I missed anybody in the chat, I apologize. I don't think I did, but
Happy holidays to
happy
everybody.
holidays,
Be safe. all.
You guys know how to
Yes.
reach me, and thank you for everything. Thank you for contributing to feedingamerica.org. Thank you for your contributions to the channel. Comcast, you can go bleep yourself for raising the rates. I'm sorry. But,
I'm with you on that one.
You know,
Comcast.
I agree.
it ain't just me. I know, just here.
No.
I understand.
No, I'm with
but
you.
Really, in the pandemic, really?
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll just leave it at that.
Find me on MeWe, by the way.
I'm still on MeWe. It still works, yeah. So,
Me-wee.
MeWe. Well,
Dan, everybody, Joe,
Yeah.
Sleepy, if you still
God bless.
there.
Arrivederci.
Everybody, be safe, and hopefully we could do this for New Year's Eve and have a good
Okay.
time.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, I would
Okay.
love to do
All right.
this too.
Have a good week. Thank you all for joining.
Doc.
Doc, William, thank you for stopping by.
You're
Okay.
welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye,
All right,
everyone.
Joe.
Bye, everybody. Be safe.
Later, Doc. Be good. We still here?
Three
Uh-oh.
of us.
3 of us.